For most of America, the war between the states ended over a century ago. Or did it?
Oh, no, it's not over. When the Southern boys show up, we pick up where our ancestors left off.
Today, the Busch Grand National drivers march north to New England for their own version of the Civil War on Yankee soil. Last year's battle went to the north. So do the good old boys from down south stand a chance today?
You bet we do. Today we're going to see the South rise again.
Don't go away, folks. This war is sure to end with a bang. From New Hampshire International Speedway, TNN presents the Chevy dealers of New England 250. Welcome to the nation's newest super speedway. Here in New Hampshire, this track's brief 2-year history has produced some interesting records. For example, no Winston Cup driver has ever won a major race on this speedway. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Joy, and along with me, Neil Bonnet. I'm from Connecticut. You're from Alabama. What kind of north-south battle are we going to see today?
Mike, I have to be careful. Me being from Alabama, I'm still collecting Confederate money, so I've got to be careful what I say, but it's been tough when you come up north for these guys to win. The Busch guys run good up here. Winston Cup guys have never won here. It's a big challenge, and nobody really can put their finger on why they haven't been able to win here.
Well, we've talked about the north-south battle. How about the north-south aspect of this racetrack?
I think that's where you're really going to see the challenges in the corners, the north corner, the south corner. The straightaways on this racetrack, big, long straightaways, a lot of braking, getting in the corner, flat corners, challenging racetrack. The guys that were up here leading the race earlier this year tore their cars all to pieces, beating on each other in the middle of these corners. They're going to have to keep those cars in one piece or they won't have a chance.
That was like the race nobody wanted to win. If you got the lead, you got in trouble.
It was a penalty to lead the race. The guys that got up front lost their race cars.
We've got an interesting field of Winston Cup, Busch Grand National, and many Busch North drivers here as well. Let's meet some of them trackside and go first to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, Mike. We've taken a $12 cab ride from the front of the field all the way back here to the 20th row, where Winston Cup stars Ken Schrader, driving car number 15, and Dale Earnhardt are starting 39th and 40th. Unusual starting position for them. We're going to talk to Earnhardt here. He's doing last-minute preparations, buckling up here. He's smiling right now. How long has it been since you've had to run a consolation race to make a Busch show?
Probably back in Martinsville, Glenn, in the 76, 77 range. You know, just getting started in sportsman then, but pretty weird.
Well, you don't really seem to be too worried. Your Busch car has run awfully well this year. No reason to expect anything different today.
Well, I don't know. This is a different type car than we usually run. It's a 3-link type race car. Hopefully it'll run good. It's one of Kenny Wallace's old chassis, and we've tuned on it a little bit. Maybe we'll be okay.
All right. Any good battle plan says protect the flanks. I can't imagine any two guys protecting it better than Earnhardt and Schrader. Let's go way back up to the front of the field now to my colleague, Mark Garrow.
The outside pole sitter is the quickest of the Busch Grand National Series drivers here. It's been over a year that Chuck Bound has gone to victory lane, some 32 races, starting from the outside of row 1, Chuck. What the doctor really needs to order here is the victory.
Oh, it sure is, Mark. You're exactly right about that. It's been a long, dry spell. I think I've forgotten what it's like to roll into victory lane, and I hope my memory is refreshing today, but my car's running really good, but so is a lot of others. It should be a great race, and we're going to try to pull it off, see what we can do.
If there's any track where you might be able to turn it around, it would have to be here. 2 runner-up finishes last year. We won't talk about the first race this year, but 2 runner-ups last year, you always seem to run well here.
It's been a good track for us. I think twice we've dropped out, didn't finish, but the other 3 times we've been second or third, so it's been a good racetrack. We haven't won here yet, but maybe today will be the day. We really need one, no doubt about that.
It's been a tough season for Chuck Bound. Better than 1 out of every 4 laps, he's been on the sidelines. The north-south battle is about to begin in Loudon, New Hampshire. More after this.
Last year, Davey Allison added something new to his car. It wasn't wider tires or a slicker shape. It was the same Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy, straight off the shelf, to add more life to your car with complete protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Now, we're not saying it was Haviland Formula 3 that gave Davey the energy to lead more major NASCAR races than anyone last year and win this year's Daytona 500. But we're not saying it wasn't.
Wallace stock car is back in town. So you better hold on. Spread the word around. Get the seconds down.
5 extra horsepower by merely installing these plugs.
Were they talking about this one or the patent-winning split fire? More power? You decide. Put a leading European spark plug up against split fire. More direct firepower means more horsepower.
5 extra horsepower by merely installing these plugs.
Split fire. More power or your money back. Get world-class split fire performance at leading U.S. retail stores nationwide.
If you thought Banana George Blair had found the fountain of youth,
I'm 77 and still barefooting.
You'd be half right, because the one he's found is actually for his car. With a little Armor All protectant, George restores the beauty of his dashboard and seats. And in minutes, it helps protect his tires from fading and aging.
It keeps my car looking almost as good as me.
There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent. Armor All.
I hope my teeth don't fall out.
TNN's exclusive coverage of the Chevy Dealers of New England 250 is being brought to you by Texaco, official sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. By cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. And by Split Fire Spark Plugs. More power, more mileage, or your money back. You're looking at the hottest car on the Busch Grand National Tour. Todd Bodine has 2 wins, 7 top 5, and 13 top 10 finishes, and he's risen to 2nd in the point standing. Let's check on how things got that way with this week's Haviland Update. Last week in Michigan, Todd Bodine took his Hungry Jack Chevrolet to the front at lap 70 and won the Detroit Gasket 200, closing to the win 88 points to Joe Nemechek. After 6 races on the tour, Nemechek was 5th, Bodine 10th. After 12 races, Joe had climbed to 4th and Todd to 8th. Now they're 1-2. We asked Todd, who once was 328 points out of the lead, about his rise in the point standings.
Really, consistency is the key to it. We try to prepare each week to run up front and win the race. And if we can't win the race, then we do the best we can, the top 5 or whatever. But consistency is the key.
After Joe and Todd, Robert Presley's 82 points out of 2nd, Bobby Labonte just 16 out of 3rd, Kenny Wallace is 5th, then Jeff Gordon, Ward Burton, Steve Grissom, Butch Miller, and Tracy Leslie, the top 10. In the Busch Grand National North Series, you see a very tight point races as well between these 5 drivers. Let's go down and meet the man who has 1 victory and 5 top 5 finishes and sits atop that point parade. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, you can see just how far north we have come this week. This car is sponsored by Fisher Snowplows. That's not something we see in the Southeast very often. This is the Buick driven by Northern Points leader Dick McCabe and noted thorn in the side of Southern drivers. But, Dick, you got a lot of battles to fight with those Southern infidels today to get to the front.
Yeah, you better believe it. They're packed in pretty tight there, and 0.6 of a second. There's, I don't know, 20-some cars, pretty near 30 cars. It'll be quite a race.
Well, I'm sure this man will help put on quite a show. He does have 1 victory to his credit this year. You folks stay tuned. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back with the start of this war right after these messages.
Hey, I like to save money as much as the next guy. But what are the odds that there's going to be a sale on the parts you need when your car breaks down? Hey, it's not going to happen. That's why I go to AutoZone. I mean, sure, you could wait around for a couple weeks and maybe beat their price by a few pennies someplace else. But I don't want to wait for a sale when I need a part. Now, what more could you ask for?
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Bic Regular, a great shave at a great price.
I'm a big man.
Bic Sensitive, Bic Baby's tender skin. Bic Metal, slim head, total control.
Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man.
Regular, sensitive, metal.
I'm a big man.
Hey, is that what I think it is? Yeah, it's my new Wagner Power Painter. Well, can you edge with it? Yeah, you can edge like this. or adjust it to control the paint up close. And when I'm done, I'm gonna switch nozzles and stain my deck. Do a lot of other jobs I've been meaning to do.
Well, does it clean up easy?
Yeah, it's quicker than you think.
Why am I painting this by hand?
Good question. Get a Wagner.
When you've got a tough case of athlete's foot, the itching, the cracking, the burning, you want a medicine that acts tough. Tough Actin Tenactin.
Clinically proven Tenactin cures even the tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
Banana George Blair does a pretty good job of staying young. We just help him out with the dash, seats, and tires of his car. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent, Armor All Protectant.
TNN and you can explore the beautiful scenery of the White Mountains of New Hampshire by car, by boat, by jet ski, by snowmobile, or by bicycle. Come visit us. It's a beautiful part of the country as we explore America all throughout 1992. The starting lineup for the $300,000 New England Chevy Dealers 250 Busch Grand National race here at New Hampshire International Speedway looks like this. 21 states are represented with Ernie Irvin from California in an Oldsmobile on the pole. Chuck Bowen on the outside pole in a Pontiac from Oregon. The Labonte brothers in row 2, Terry and Bobby from Texas. Kenny Wallace from Missouri in row 3 with Kelly Moore, the leading Busch North driver. He's from Maine. Morgan Shepherd's from North Carolina, Jeff Gordon, the Indiana native. Curtis Markham from Virginia in row 5 with Joe Nemechek from Florida. Robert Presley out of North Carolina and Jimmy Spencer from Pennsylvania. In row 7, Ron Lamell Jr. from Vermont, Todd Bodine from New York State. Jeff Burton's from Virginia, Joe Bessie from Maine. In row 9, Dave Resendiz from Massachusetts and Tommy Houston from North Carolina. In row 10, Shauna Robinson from Iowa, Dave Dion from New Hampshire. New York State's Mike McLaughlin and Jamie Obey from Vermont in row 11. Tommy Ellis out of Virginia and Mike Stepanek from Rhode Island. In row 13, Tom Peck from Pennsylvania and Tom Bowles from Connecticut. In 14, Bobby Dotter from Illinois and Ward Burton from Virginia. Then it's Bob Dragon from Vermont and Tracy Leslie of Michigan. Then Alabama's Steve Grissom. And from Maine, the North Point leader, that's Dick McCabe. Stubb Fadden's out of New Hampshire. Butch Miller, native of Michigan. In row 18, Ricky Craven from Maine and Babe Branscombe, he's from New Hampshire. In the 19th row, Jeff Berry from Connecticut and Dale Shaw from New Hampshire. North Carolina's Dale Earnhardt shares the 20th row with Ken Schrader from Missouri. Then it's Jason Keller from South Carolina, lined up against Mike Rowe from Maine, Ed Faree from Pennsylvania, and Bobby Gaeta from Connecticut. That's the starting field, 44 cars strong, and they sent a bunch home in that qualifying race yesterday. Kenny Wallace, Felix Sabati's Dirt Devil Pontiac, will have onboard cameras riding along today around the 1 mile oval at New Hampshire as he scrubs the tires. There's that 360-degree race cam from inside the car and the rear bumper cam as well, looking for Kenny Wallace. And also we'll have a camera on board the Polaroid Chevrolet, Shauna Robinson, behind the wheel, and there's the race cam in her car. Big spread in the Boston Globe on Shauna this weekend. As we look out the front windshield of the Polaroid car. And there's a look at the bumper cam as well.
Mike, there's a good indication of what we have at this racetrack. Real flat area, flat entry in these corners. It's a tough little racetrack to get around. A lot of speed on the straightaways.
Field coming by, start finish. We'll see if the light goes out on the safety car. It will not. They'll take at least another lap. And if you look here at New Hampshire International Speedway, they set this oval at just barely over 1 mile. 12-degree banking in the turns, 6-foot elevation change front to back straightaway there. Gives you a little better view of the backstretch. It's a little higher than the front straight here. Those straightaways are 1,500 feet long. The track is laid out with the turns at the north and the south end of the speedway. The sun hits the grandstand in the morning, but it's over the people's shoulders by race time. This used to be a road race course, a small quarter-mile dirt oval just right around that pond in the infield, and a drag strip. They've raced motorcycles in this area since the 1930s. Started racing autos here on the former Breyer Motorsports Park in 1955. The SCCA Trans Am circuit ran here in the glory days of that circuit in the 70s with drivers like Mark Donahue, Carnelli Jones, George Colmer, and Peter Revson. Now this 1 mile speedway plays host to kart Indy cars, the Sports Car Club of America Series, and NASCAR's Busch Grand National Series. The weather has been, in a word, perfect. In fact, it's been about the only perfect weekend of a very wet and rainy summer here in New England. Today, 80 degrees, 30% humidity, hardly any wind, And the forecast is only partly cloudy. Field will get a take one as they come by, and pit action. Joe Nemechek, the Busch Series point leader, is on pit road.
Mike, a lot of times we'll see guys want to make a small change with the car, but they're going under the hood. Sometimes you think it's a steering wheel adjustment, but they've got a problem. It possibly could be missing or something.
Glenn Jarrett will have an update momentarily, as he and Todd Bodine just 80-some points apart. As you saw in our Haviland update coming into this race. There's Glenn.
We're looking, we just got here. They do have a problem with the engine. The car is missing. They're checking plug wires. All the plugs seem to be in order. No wires are off, but they still definitely have a miss in the car. Quick as Rick Kangas gets things sorted out here, we'll get a word with him and find out.
Well, this race will start without Joe. He'll be playing catch up to the field as the light is out on the safety car. Tough break for the point leader. He's headed down toward turn one as the field is up between turns 3 and 4, and they'll be looking for green.
Mike, the only thing he can hope for, evidently they didn't get the problem fixed. They ran out of time. Is on this, when they start this race, the only thing he can hope for is an early caution and have a little bit more opportunity to work on that car, because the way some of these cars are running, they'll lap him in a hurry if he has a cylinder off on the car.
Chevrolet Corvette pace car is in. Here comes the field down this 1,500-foot straightaway, and Ernie Irvan leads them to the green flag. Irvan in an Oldsmobile today, Buick powered V6, leading Chuck Bowd, Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte, and Kenny Wallace off turn 2. Then it's Kelly Moore and Jimmy Spencer. Nemechek has caught the tail end of the field. So he will be on the lead lap as we go to green.
I don't think it's a surprise to see Ernie jump out like he did in practice yesterday. All afternoon, his car was really, really quick. The key is, will it stay that way? Is the car good enough he can run the laps he's turning in practice?
Neil, the way they started this race and quickly go single file, this reminds me a lot of Martinsville.
Mike, it's a gigantic Martinsville. Here's Earnhardt back in the middle of the pack. And when it gets single file, it's just like Martinsville. A lot of braking in the corner. But when you're this far back, they're going to have to shuffle early and try to get out of that traffic, because the leaders can catch them and lap them.
Earnhardt working up through traffic. The purple car just ahead of him, Ricky Craven, who won here last year. They work underneath Mike Rowe, the orange car out of Auburn, Maine.
We heard Dale talking early in the show that was a new type car. That's a 3-link car. He runs a truck arm car all the time. That's a little car that we borrowed for David to use down in Volusia County, and this is the first time Dale's ran it, and they're still playing around with some things to get it sorted out.
We're talking about rear suspension designs and how they vary on these cars. Earnhardt, who started so far back in the field, even the golf cart to get to his car. 39th he started with Kenny Schrader alongside after winning that 50-lap qualifying race yesterday. Just ahead of them, that's Dale Shaw in the blue and white number 60. And there's Schrader on the outside making the pass on Shaw. Ricky Craven drafting along. Irvan has stretched out meanwhile, so we'll stay back with this action as it's pretty hot down there in the back of the pack.
Yeah, it's kind of strung out in the front single file like you're talking about. The shuffle is going to be back here in the back with these guys that worked themselves into a box. They had a bad qualifying time, and they're going to have to hustle to get to the front.
A long way to go to get there. This pack enters turn number 3 as the leader is already down toward turn 1. Schrader working well here, coming up the outside.
The entire field, Mike, is just about a half a second from the pole to the last place, even in the qualifying races. So it's going to be hard for anybody to make any major gains. You're just going to have to take your time and work on one car at a time. It's going to be tough for anybody to just come zipping to the front.
That's Butch Miller on the inside of Schrader in the 75 car. Then Craven and Earnhardt and Mike Rowe trying to move up. Steve Grissom there back with them. And the yellow car is Dick McCabe, the Busch North point leader. They're fighting under Bobby Dragon. That's that red 71 car, the Dragon Wagon out of Milton, Vermont, who was the scourge of the old NASCAR North Tour back in the 70s.
Well, he's done some racing, I tell you.
Yeah.
He's done racing, I think.
Trying to get you in position here.
There's Steve Grissom on the inside. His cars ran very well at certain races, and when they get that thing dialed in, he's tough. They've been off just a little bit this week, but they'll get it sorted out before the day's over.
All right, just as a marker, the yellow car there, Dick McCabe, is in 30th position. Gives you an idea of where they're battling here. All these cars on the lead lap as we're in the early going. 6 laps complete.
Well, that's what's so good about this Busch Series, Mike. There's so much depth. It used to be the depth of the Winston Cup Series. It was really good. Now there's so many good cars here. Just as you mentioned earlier, boy, there are 3 deep, and there's that little front end, rear end banging. We were talking about it on this track. It's something that just happens. You can't avoid it. You go in there and stack them up. But there's so much depth. The racing from front to rear is good.
Yeah, the car with the white and red hood, there's 76 is Tom Bowles out of Ellington, Connecticut, driving for his dad's Jeep Eagle dealership. And he backed up just a little there between 3 and 4, and you saw that whole stack of cars just accordion right on him there in the outside lane. He's had some success on the modified tour, and Bowles is trying to break in and make his mark here in Busch Grand National Racing as well. He's got some close company right now.
I tell you what's tough on a track this size, Mike, is you have to put a lot of gear. You're talking Martinsville, look at the racetrack. Well, you think about it at this big a track with that thing where you stop in the corners, have to really accelerate, and they twist these little V6s out of the frame. They turn them a tremendous amount of RPM. If you bog it down, it's so hard to get it going, and that's what happens. When somebody stacks them up, it piles the whole field in one big group like this.
Okay, Earnhardt on the left side of your screen has moved past Bowles, and he's dragged Bobby Dragon in 71 along with him. Now it's Schrader on the inside. They're closing up there on Dick McCabe. That's Bobby Doddard, 2 cars ahead of McCabe in the 08 car, still looking for a sponsor to finish off the season in that car. Tracy Leslie, the Detroit Gasket car, right behind Bobby Dragon then. Well back in the field with 9 laps complete. Let's go back up front, just to establish that Ernie Irvan has walked away from this field as he comes out of turn number 4 here. Down the front straightaway, all alone. There's second place. As you look at Chuck Bound, Bobby Labonte in 3rd, Kenny Wallace, Jimmy Spencer right up there with the program. Jeff Gordon and Kelly Moore from the Busch North Series, then Terry Labonte and Morgan Shepherd. So we have 10 laps complete out of 250 miles here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Here's how they're running. We'll be right back.
If you thought Banana George Blair had found the fountain of youth,
I'm 77 and still barefooting.
You'd be half right, because the one he's found is actually for his car. With a little Armor All protectant, George restores the beauty of his dashboard and seats, and in minutes it helps protect his tires from fading and aging.
It keeps my car looking almost as good as me.
There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent. Armor All.
I hope my teeth don't fall out.
You promised me something really special for my birthday. A whole weekend in the great outdoors. Without me.
Here's to the great outdoors, men who understand, and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
It's your boss on the phone. He says, do you still work here or not?
I called the airline like you said, and sure, there's a later flight. Tomorrow.
When you just can't wait to get started, start with the Champion. Pound for pound, the most powerful automotive battery you can buy. Get your Champion now by calling 1-800-289-4627 for a dealer near you.
Cold filtered. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Today, live on CNN Motorsports, the ASA is pulling out all the stops, pitting experience against young, hungry competitors, turning up the heat and making this last live televised race the one to see. And if history is right, this should be a fight to the finish. It's the 25th anniversary of the ASA AC Delco Challenge Series. Live from Alberta, Canada. Players Limited 500 today, 4 p.m. Eastern, live, only on TNN Motorsports.
Back in New Hampshire, you're watching a very close-up shot of the front end of Mike McLaughlin's car. Young driver out of Waterloo, New York, with a lot of promise. He's won the NASCAR National Modified Championship and now driving for Mike and Harry Grieche out of Granby, Connecticut. He's won 2 races this year on the Busch North Series, and he's a proven frequent winner here.
Mike, there goes Morgan Shepherd right behind the wall. The car's been smoking and been black flagging him for about 3 laps earlier this year. The first race up here, he went out with a cracked oil pan. I don't know if that's a problem now, but he has a major problem.
Had a good qualifying run, started 7th here today, but Shepherd appears to be out of the race. Ernie Irvan has walked away from the front of this field by nearly a straightaway.
When he unloaded the car in practice, he was way, way quicker than anybody else. And everybody hopes you can gain on him, but they couldn't. He just drove away.
Let's take a look at 5th through 8th. There's Jimmy Spencer on the left side of your screen, Jeff Burton, Kenny Wallace. Now you're watching from Wallace, and Burton ahead, and Spencer, and then Jeff Gordon is right behind him. And right behind him, the black car is Kelly Moore, the Busch North driver who started 6th here. That's the 47 car. Moore doing very well here today.
Yeah, he's had a good qualifying run, but not only that, when the race starts, he just jumped on these leaders and staying right with them. Spin coming off the 4th turn, Mike.
1 car, 2 cars go around. Robert Presley slides back down the track in front of traffic. Look at the rush hour jam to get down the front straightaway. This track is fairly wide as 1 mile ovals go, but you put 2 cars sideways in the middle of turn 4, and it narrows in a hurry. The 2nd car involved in the spin appeared to be Stub Fadden out of North Haverhill, New Hampshire, who started 35th today in the number 16 car. First caution of the day, and it comes out at lap number 19 for those of you keeping stats at home. Ernie Irvan has led every lap so far. Let's have another look.
They were coming in right in the middle 3, starting off 4. There's the 2 cars. Looked like they might have tapped each other. They spun, but that's not the problem. Neither one of these guys hit the wall, but look at the traffic coming in behind them. And here's where the key is to a track where you've got to slow down speed. They're slowed down in the corner. It gives the driver the opportunity to make some moves instead of just having to drive through full throttle. So they're slowed down enough they could take evasive action.
So we're under caution, the first of the day at lap 19 as you cruise along under caution from Kenny Wallace's car. West Springfield, Mass. is Let's Go Racing on TNN. We will in a moment.
That big boss man is really a jerk.
Time magazine calls him a Renaissance man in a bolo tie. Rodney Crowell in concert on a late night in Nashville. Monday on TNN.
Classic Motor Carriages presents the Classic Cobra, a remake of the 60s ultimate muscle car. History on the track, performance on the street, the most complete, easiest to build kit on the market, an innovative one-piece body finished in your choice of high-luster gel coat colors. The Classic Cobra, with the performance and muscle of the original. Call 1-800-CLASSIC for more information on the special offering of the Classic Cobra from Classic Motor Carriages. Call now, 1-800-CLASSIC.
Get 90 minutes of racing excitement from start to finish on the American Sports Cavalcade. The American Sports Cavalcade. 7 Eastern Sports Sundays on TNN.
Pit stops order of the day. Terry Labonte gets service. Robert Presley getting a flat left rear tire replaced as a result of that spin. Let's see how Shauna Robinson saw this as she entered turn number 4.
Mike, here we are in her car, and they're coming off the corner. Look, the car's stopping in front of her. She does a good job of slowing down, avoiding the car in front of her. Here's the key. Listen to her get back in the throttle right here. When you're in a wreck like that, don't stop and sit there. Go ahead and shift gears and get out of there so you don't get rear-ended. And she was smart enough to avoid the wreck and then clear on out of that area and not get hit from the rear.
Now let me get off the hook with all the Stub Fadden fans. He was not involved in the incident. The second car besides Robert Presley was the white number 11, Ron Lamell Jr. from Essex Junction, Vermont, not Stub Fadden. Stubby's still running along and doing a good job here today. There's Mike McLaughlin just ahead of Shauna. McLaughlin with 3 wins here at New Hampshire in 12 starts. He's the leading money winner at this speedway. A little more pit action. Bobby Dotter is in. Top of your screen there. The number 16 car, that's Stub Fadden making a stop.
You know, Shauna was sitting there in the car, and on these cautions, your pit crew always hollers caution. I don't know how many times they said caution. I called back and said, no kidding. You're the guy, you got the best seat in the house, and I'm sure they were hollering caution, but she was surely aware of it.
Yeah, but they can see the flag, but they can't see you.
I know.
Yeah.
Nothing like that seat in that race car. You can see what's going on.
The worst feeling in the world is when the crew calls over and says somebody just did something stupid, and you know you need to key the mic and call back and say, yeah, I know I did, but you don't dare.
I've had to make that call a few times.
I know just what you mean.
There was Nemechek in there. They had his car in, working on it again. Maybe they get that car sorted out. He's leading the points, and he doesn't need to be sitting on pit road.
One to go here, and I know most of you around the nation are seeing some new race cars today. Those are the Busch Grand National North Tour. They've got quite a race series. They go next Saturday night to Ed Carroll's Riverside Park Speedway in Agawam, Massachusetts. September 5th, they'll be up at Oxford Plains Speedway in May. We'll be back here in New Hampshire September 20th and close out their series September 26th at Star Speedway in Epping, New Hampshire.
Charlotte getting ready to go racing again, clearing the tires off.
Kenny,
I'm sorry. Excuse me, Kenny.
Under the helmet, look a lot alike. Yeah. That's Kenny Wallace. And there's Jeff Gordon. Having a close encounter with Kenny's Pontiac. Baby Ruth Ford.
The other race up here this year, that camera wouldn't have lasted very long. Kenny got both ends of his car knocked off.
Gosh.
He's hoping for a better day today.
Last week, Jeff wouldn't have had much to bump him with. He said he got Spencerized at Michigan. Pace cars in. 22 laps complete. We go back to racing. It looks like this may be the only way for the field to catch Ernie Irvin today is on these caution flags. Bobby Labonte guns for second at turn 1, and he's going to get it away from Chuck Bound. Good move by Labonte. Lap car, that's Lamel, very slow down there on the track apron.
Labonte got a good jump on the start, got around Chuck. Now his big task is to see if he can keep up with that 4 car. Nobody's been able to do it all day.
There's 4th on back. Jeff Burton, Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Gordon, then Kenny Wallace, Kelly Moore, right with them. And that shouldn't be a surprise because Moore runs very well up here.
Mike, while that was going on, Nemechek came in and changed all of his spark plugs to see if they can get it cleared up. Thank goodness he just had 6 of them. Didn't take quite as long.
No.
47 car there nipping at our camera. He just about got it, that shot.
And they're peeking out from behind Kelly Moore comes Todd Bodine, the number 2 point man on the tour in the CC and Welliver number 34. There's Gordon coming up. I don't know if there's a score to settle there from last week. Jimmy Spencer leading Jeff Gordon.
Just blowing the horn, let him know he's there.
That's
just
it.
A little tap.
There's Kenny Wallace, now right behind Jeff Gordon, dropping 1 spot on the restart.
Well, I tell you, it's amazing. You come off of that flat corner we're looking at, and look at the length of the straightaway. And it's hard to believe that these little V6 motors can wind up and pull these heavy cars as fast as they do down this track. These 6-cylinders are putting out some good power now.
Plus, when you come off, especially turn 2 here, you come off turn 2 from the bottom of that corner, and look, it just looks like you've got all day to get out there and let that car, have its head and go out there toward the wall in the front straightaway. The track is very, very wide from the low line you run here in the corner. Now watch here at turn 1, turn 2. Just look at all the room you got here to track out.
You got a lot of room out there, but you got a pretty good chunk of concrete if you let it too much in. And we see a lot of guys, that's where there's been a problem, is coming off 2 over there. They let them sling out off the wall. You got to have a car free here to run fast. And if you're not careful, you'll get out there on the outside of that guy. And that little gray area, you get those tires in that, and it's going to go a little bit further than you want it to go. It's a nice racetrack over here. Really nice for these cars.
There's Kelly Moore. Yeah, the Jordan Lumber car for Kelly Moore. He grabbed a spot away from Kenny Wallace. Let's get an update on Joe Nemechek's fortunes at this juncture. Glenn?
Well, Mike, I'm holding the hot little number in my hand here that causes problems. But you can see at the very end of my index finger, there's a slight crack in the porcelain portion of the plug. That was causing the miss in Joe's car. Unfortunately, this was the last plug that they took out that they tried, so they had to go through all 6 of them. He did lose a lap, but he is back running up to full speed. He needs to work his way back through the field, catch another caution, try to get that lap back, but the car is up to full speed now.
2 other cars with difficulty. Bobby Dotter's having a long stop on pit road with the left side jacked up, and Ron Lamel Jr. from Vermont has the hood up on his car.
Mike, in racing, you'll, just like with Nemechek there, well, you'll put plugs into practice, you'll put plugs into qualifying, you'll usually put a new set in for the race, and it just bites you every now and then. You think you're doing the right thing, and probably if they left the old plugs, it'd been okay, but they put a new one in and cracked it, putting it in.
Second place on back. You saw Ernie Irvin briefly. There he goes out the left side of the picture, and we'll pick up this battle for second behind Ernie Irvin, because it's a good one. Bobby Labonte is trying to hold off Chuck Bound and Jeff Burton. They've opened up a little bit of distance on Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Gordon, and Kelly Moore.
There's a move, making a move back on the inside. Look, Chuck Bound trying the inside of Labonte. Labonte kind of jumped him on the start. It was a clean pass, but kind of snookered him, got by him, and here's Chuck Bound driving right back up there.
So Labonte with one little bobble, and he's lost 2 spots. And look, here's that second pack right on his bumper. Spencer, Gordon, and Burton. Bobby Daughter's back in the race, by the way. We have 30 laps complete.
Well, we're talking about Bobby Labonte there. When they got here, he told his brother, he told Terry what springs to put in the car. He told him the 4 springs, the 4 shocks, and everything. And his brother out-qualified him, so I don't know if he'll be spreading the news around as much as he did this week.
Maybe not. Chuck Bound there at second. Jeff Burton in third. And it's been a little bit quiet in that pack right behind them. I think perhaps staying single file, trying to draw up on that second and third place car.
Chuck Bound's car up here at the other race got better and better as the day went along. He was actually in contention to win the race, and the 2 of the leaders tangled, and he got mixed up, and he couldn't help it. And his car was plenty good enough to win the last race here, and it looks like he's coming to him now.
Neil Brown's out of turn number 2. Back in second and third place.
You know, the banking says 12 degrees. When you go out there on the racetrack, as you look at these cars enter this corner, it almost looks flat. From inside the car, it almost seems like it's reverse banking. The car rolls over, and you'll almost argue with, hey, this thing is completely flat or banked the opposite way, but there's 12 degrees of banking, and there's not a lot to lay that car on when you get in there.
And there's 20th spot, Kenny Schrader, moving up on Jamie Obey, the 3-time Busch North champ. As we have a look back a little further back in the field, Shauna Robinson, left side of your screen, battling in there amongst Tom Peck and Tracy Leslie. Good infight going on there. And Schrader is right behind that pack, so he's moved up well from well back in the field.
Yes, Schrader in the race yesterday. Earnhardt won the thing, he ran second. And they said they learned a lot. You know, these guys had never ran at this racetrack before, and they had to do a lot of work, and that 50-lap penalty they had to run some really taught them something about the track, and they might have their cars in better shape for today.
Car right in there with him is Mike Stefanik, the former NASCAR modified champ. He's leading Tom Peck right there in that picture as they chase Shauna Robinson. That's Kenny Schrader, right side of your screen, just behind Tracy Leslie. 34 laps complete. We'll be back after these messages and a brief chat with Ernie Irvin about how his Busch Grand National team is doing this season.
Well, you know, my Busch team's really come together well. Our Cup team's just got better and better, you know, and about everywhere we go, we do seem to be running competitive. You know, it's took a while to get the Busch team put together, but it was a new team last year, and you just got to get the right people in there, and all of them working towards the same thing.
3 reasons not to buy BF Goodrich TA tires. Being the center of attention makes you uncomfortable. You think a Little Deuce Coupe is a place where tiny chickens are kept. You think Lug Nuts is a high-fiber cereal. BF Goodrich TA tires for the rest of us.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. With not 1, but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Just because you go all out, doesn't mean you got to stink. Not if you're wearing this. And here comes your chance to prove it. And you will, because Old Spice works. Man, does it work. Fights wetness, kills bacteria. The proof?
Hey, hotshot.
You're looking at her.
Old Spice antiperspirant for great odor protection. You demand proof, not promises.
Folks in these parts think Tom Lawton is the best thing to ever turn a wrench. But back east, they'll put their money down on the guys at McClellan's. It seems in every town there's always one place that does a little bit better job fixing your car. And it seems the things they all have in common are great mechanics, great service, and Napa parts. Look for the sign of quality car repair. Napa.
TNN's exclusive coverage of the Chevy Dealers of New England 250 is being brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. 40 laps complete here at New Hampshire. Ernie Irvin continues to lead Chuck Bound. Jeff Burton, Bobby Labonte drifting back in the field a bit further past Jimmy Spencer now as we're back to live action. Steve Grissom has made a pit stop. He's been in and out of pit road and is not really up to speed as he comes back around turn number 4. There's a look at leader Ernie Irvin, and you see Bobby Daughters back on the racetrack. Let's check with Mark Garrow.
Year for Gadsden, Alabama, Steve Grissom. Today, about a $4 part cost him 5 laps or better on pit road. It is the brake line to the right front brake set up for this channel lock Oldsmobile. Something was rubbing on it. It cut through, and it's cost Steve Grissom dearly. He's lost any chance of win today.
You see Ernie Irvin and the gap, a bit of the gap he's built up. It's a full straightaway from Irvin to second place Chuck Bound. I thought he had the dominant car at Watkins Glen, but Neil, this is something.
You know, when he said his Busch team was coming around, it's not coming around, it's there. Everywhere they've been with that car, he's been flying. And it seems like you get on a roll. The Winston Cup team is doing good. He's got the Busch team going. You just get it in your mind. You can climb in the wind of any car and perform well, and he's doing that right now.
Mike Rowe has slowed to a crawl. Now at turn number 4, he'll be headed for the pit lane. Ron Lamell Jr. is back on pit road.
Caution flags out, Mike. And I'm looking around. I don't really see it right now. But
could be for Mike Rowe's slow car down in turns 3 and 4, Neil. Otherwise, the track looks reasonably clear. He might have been dropping some fluid as he came around the racetrack. He's on pit road now with the hood up. Driver out of Auburn, Maine. But we do have a caution. It's the second one of the day, and it comes out at lap number 43. Now, there's Ron Lamell. He's been in the pits for some time. A bit further to the north on pit road is the Mike Rowe car.
Possibly the spotters around the racetrack saw a liquid coming out of the car. They threw the caution around. You have to on a place like this. As flat as it is, the speed they're running, they can't afford to have anything on the track. And if they thought he dropped something on the track, they certainly throw the caution out.
Don't know if there'll be pit stops under this caution or not. On the first lap of caution, only the cars on the lead lap may pit. And the tire rule in effect today, you're allowed 1 replacement tire per position on the car. Only 4 tires total for the whole day. Cost-cutting measure. So we're under caution for the second time this afternoon. We'll be right back.
The energy of the Olympic Games. Texaco has captured it on a special videotape. Profiles of Olympic athletes who demonstrated the strength to endure and the energy to go further. This collector's tape is just $4.99 with a fill-up of System 3 gasoline. And it comes with a coupon for a free 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola Classic or Diet Coke. Good on your next visit. Get your videotape today at Texaco.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sport Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
How many this time? 8 cavities. 14 cavities? I didn't think I had that many teeth. You're gonna have to drill. My parents will be very upset.
Parents today hope their kids won't have to go through what they went through. Luckily, today's kids use the toothpaste no dentists recommend, Crest. Crest fluoride formula strengthens tooth enamel, helping to protect against cavities.
Another great checkup. Yes. Later, dude.
Crest, the dentist's choice, is the easy choice.
It's been fun.
Coming up tonight at 8:30 Eastern on Race Day, we'll have as our guest Camel Pro motorcycle champion Scott Parker and highlights from the Busch Grand National Race in New Hampshire, plus all of today's ASA action. Make plans to join us here on Race Day.
Race Day, 2nd edition, 8:30 p.m. Eastern today on TNN Motorsports.
We're going to see if we can get to talk with Dale Earnhardt. Dale, this is Neil. Can you hear me down there? Dale, this is Neil. Have you got a copy? Well, we'll have to go back and try it. We were talking to him during the commercial, and he said he's moved. He's up in about 10th place right now. They've moved up pretty good, and he was saying that the car's a little pushy getting in the corner. We'll just have to try again. Let me try it one more time. Dale, this is Neil. Can you hear me?
I'm being loose all week long. Now we're a little tight off the corner. Brakes is a little bit soft getting in. I'm going to be easy on it so I don't scratch the car up. I'll see what I can do with it here later on.
I never thought I'd hear Dale Earnhardt say he wasn't going to scratch the car up. Mike, I guess he's got a new perspective. I told him that I made a deal with him to try to buy that car if the race is over, and I told him I didn't want it bent up too bad, and it looks like he's paying attention.
Well, I guess so. Ernie Irvan is the leader as we're going to go back to green this time. Chuck Bowen is in 2nd. Jeff Burton is 3rd. Jeff Gordon is 4th. 5th is Jimmy Spencer. 6th now is Todd Bodine. Bobby Labonte's dropped back to 7th. Joe Bessie is 8th. Dave Rezendes 9th. Mike McLaughlin is 10th, and Earnhardt is 11th. Curtis Markham is 12th. As we get ready to go back to green. Lap car Joe Nemechek coming up toward the front of the field there. And there'll be 3 wide in the front straightaway. 4 wide, that is.
We said it was a wide racetrack. They're going to see how wide it is. And they made it.
Way down to the bottom. That's Jeff Gordon popping out of there with 2nd place. That was an interesting start.
Yeah, it looked like once one guy made a move, they all decided to go 4 abreast, and Jeff got the inside line, and the tie goes to the man on the inside on one of these flat racetracks.
So it'll be Irvan coming off the corner. Let's see if the Ford has anything for him. Nemechek is 3rd in line. He did not get a lap back. So Jeff Burton is 3rd. Jimmy Spencer is 4th. Kenny Wallace is 5th. Todd Bodine is 6th. And perhaps we can get an update from Bobby Labonte's pit. He's back to 7th and is in danger of losing that spot. Started 4th. Then it's Joe Bessie. Dale Earnhardt has moved up 2 notches past Dave Rezendes and Mike McLaughlin. So he's now 9th.
Boy, Irvin's just, when this thing restarts, he's doing just what he did before. He's able to pull out there and get the cushion he wants, and it's going to make the rest of these guys work awful hard to keep up.
Gordon and Nemechek holding their own as far as track position, but not gaining much ground.
It looks like Gordon is able to hold on better than any. We've had 4 different drivers behind the 4 car of Irvin trying to keep up with him, and it looks like the 1 car has made the best effort so far to do that.
Now, a number of cars made pit stops. Kelly Moore came in under that caution. So did Mike Stefanik, Dick McCabe, the Busch North Point leader, Tom Peck, and Shauna Robinson. All made pit stops for fuel and are restarting at the back of the pack. Nobody in the front 10 positions chose to stop on this caution.
Well, it's hard to play the strategy out, Mike. When you mentioned earlier, you get 1 tire per position. 1 left front, 1 right front, all the way around the car. And if you use them up early in the race, you're in trouble at the end. So the question is, how long can you go and wait and put those good tires on and try to win the race?
50 down, 51 laps this time. And up front, it's the Ernie Irvan show. From 2nd on back, though, things are pretty close. There's Jeff Gordon, who's moved to the 2nd spot. 6th in the Busch Grand National points. 2 wins, 6 top 5s, 11 top 10s. And a whole lot of coulda, woulda, shouldas for that team.
Yeah, just, you know, you're so close on what you can do, and just a little bit of luck one way or the other, and it's hard to live with what happens in racing. It's a tough sport at times.
He moves on to Winston Cup next year, as does Kenny Wallace, as does his car owner, Bill Davis, with another driver.
to be named, I guess. We never know who's going where.
Well, he's
speculation.
he's been named. I'm just not sure he's been announced. That's
Yeah.
why I'm kind of hanging on that last word there. He's here today, if that helps you.
I tell you what, these two cars here are making the best run to hang on to the 4 car, unless Ernie says, hey, I got them covered. I'm going to ride a little bit, but they're staying a lot closer than they did earlier. He put a straightaway on before in about 10 laps.
Eighth place here at stake. There's Joe Bessie, the AC Delco car, number 9, up and under Dale Earnhardt.
They went down in the first turn, and Dale got on the outside of him. It's tough to pass on the outside of this track, and he got enough beside him that kind of pinched Bessie down off the corner, and Dale was able to clear him.
Now they're going to work on Bobby Labonte.
Yeah, but Bobby Labonte right there. You mentioned earlier, Labonte started real strong and fell off the pace just a little bit, and he's dropped back some, and here they're coming after him. There's not, you know, you just don't see guys run real high here, and when Dale made the run from the rear, he's been testing that outside a little bit. And he's able to put 2 wheels out there, but not all 4 of them yet. It's going to take a while to work that outside the track where you can pass out there.
Report from Bobby Labonte's pit is the car's just loosened up on Bobby. They're going to have to make an adjustment when they make their pit stop. So it's running a bit loose.
Well, boy, this won't help it right here, Mike. Somebody directly behind him will loosen him up. Take some air off that spoiler, and he'll be looser than ever now.
It's interesting here, Neil. When the Indy cars ran here 4th of July, they put a lot of rubber up in that upper groove down in turns 1 and 2. You see the black marks are about 2 lanes wide down there in 1 and 2. Up in 3 and 4, it seems they're only about a lane wide. Here's Nemechek moving on Jeff Gordon. This is not for position. Joe is a lap down.
He's got a lot to go here. If he needs that lap back, because in a race like this on this size track, it's going to be hard.
Trouble back straightaway. 2 cars have crashed in the backstretch. Shauna Robinson is one. Ward Burton is the other.
Ward got his car going.
Shauna driving away, as you saw briefly from the in-car. That little bit of asphalt is the turn 3 of the road course in the middle of the backstretch. The road course goes outside the speedway here. So she spun completely on asphalt, not off into the dirt, and pulls away from that incident with Ward Burton. It brings out our 3rd caution flag at lap number 56. And did Nemechek get his lap back from Ernie Irvan? We'll have to double check.
Neither one of these cars that spun got a lap down, but Nemechek is out about a block in front of the pace car. He's questioning NASCAR, hey, did I get my lap back? Here's a flat right rear tire on Ward Burton's car.
Either causing or as a result of that spin with Shauna Robinson. Let's have another look.
Here they are. They're already sideways. They're shown on this side, the Ward Burton car on the inside. They're getting nose to nose now, shoving down through here. Both of them turned around. They ended up going back across. Look at the line of traffic coming. That's when it's here. They're down on that little section you were talking about on the inside, Mike, and that's the place to be with that traffic coming. They were out of line.
All those skid marks are from the road race cars that spin there in turn number 3.
Is it mandatory that you spin there?
Well, at least once every weekend, I think. I'm
it
not
looks
sure.
like it's happened plenty of times.
I've been there. There's Shauna's car. Doesn't look to be in too bad shape except for the right front. She shredded that one, and
plus the left rear was worn pretty bad. Looked like where it was rubbing. Look at the steering wheel of the car. That thing's running on that flat. Here she is. She's trying to get over in her pit, and there's a car coming out of the pits. And if you notice the shaking, it will actually tear that car up just coming in on that rim like that.
Ward Burton is coming in with the same problem on both right side tires on his car. He had trouble even steering that car to a stop. He's about 5 pits behind Shauna. Tommy Houston on pit lane. A lot of the leaders made stops. Kenny Wallace is in as well. Let's have another look from inside Shauna Robinson's car.
Okay, here we are. This is right down in the middle of 1 and 2. She's coming up off the corner. Looked like Ward Burton back behind her. The car, I didn't see Ward Burton if that was him further back, but her car just snapped around. I don't know if Ward was up under or that was his car back 2 or 3 car lengths back, but her car just snapped around on her.
Well, like most cannon fire in our Civil War analogy, a lot of smoke. A couple of spins there, but both cars, it looks, well, certainly Shauna's back in the race, and it looks like Ward will get back in also. We have 58 laps completed at New Hampshire International Speedway, working the 3rd caution flag of the day. Back after this.
Banana George Blair does a pretty good job of staying young. We just help him out with the dash, seats, and tires of his car. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent. Armor All Protectant.
Wendy's has a great bacon cheddar cheeseburger, but it doesn't have a good slogan. So people have been trying to help me write one because they really like the sandwich.
Come try Wendy's new bacon cheddar cheeseburger.
Take my bacon and cheddar cheese, please.
Thanks, Henny.
Get it?
This is the end of how you think about dandruff shampoo. Of Head & Shoulders as you now know it. Now it's better. Because new Head & Shoulders gets to 10 times more of the places dandruff starts to help prevent flakes. Hey, would you try this with your ordinary shampoo? I think not. No other shampoo has this formula. New Head & Shoulders. This could be the end of flakes. Period.
It was unreal. You woke up with morning breath. You were meeting Miss Wonderful for breakfast, and instead of minty fresh scope... Where's my scope? There was something from the medicine-y mouthwash. It looked blue, but it still smelled somewhat medicine-y. I need my scope! It's okay. Relax. It was all a dream. You do have scope. It's minty through and through and kills 90% of morning breath bacteria. So you use minty fresh scope, and you kiss morning breath goodbye.
Oh, this athlete's foot. The itching, the burning.
And the odor. Phew.
Stop the itch and the odor with new Odor Eaters Athlete's Foot Cream.
Odor Eaters for athlete's foot?
Look, Odor Eaters Cream cures itching, burning athlete's foot while it controls that awful odor. Yet it costs less than any of these.
No more athlete's foot.
And no more odor.
New Odor Eaters Athlete's Foot Cream. Powder and spray, too.
Few fans watching Dale Earnhardt work his way into the top 10 here at New Hampshire. By the way, Joe Nemechek did not get his lap back. Still working caution here at New Hampshire. A lot of fun places around New Hampshire International Speedway. There's the track's official restaurant. Authentic Irish pub up here in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. The TNN crew went there last night, had a little bit of fun. Here's the way they're running after 60 of 250 laps. Ernie Irvan, Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, Jimmy Spencer, and Chuck Bound. That's the top 5. Todd Bodine, there's Earnhardt up to 7th. Joe Bessie is 8th. Mike McLaughlin having a good run here today, and Dave Rezendes. Let's point out none of these cars have made pit stops. Right behind Rezendes, Jason Keller up to 21st place. Here's one of the drivers who did make a stop.
And this is his 3rd stop. It looked like they stopped earlier. You're allowed to replace just one tire in position. They pulled the right rear off and put a rubber in the right rear spring and put the same tires back on. So a real slow stop. They're doing a lot of chassis adjustments. They've changed the chassis on the left rear and right rear, so they've done a lot of work on this car.
Kenny Wallace is back out, and he'll have to hustle to come around and get the field because it's 1 to go. Again, Nemechek did not beat Ernie Irvan back to the line. So the Busch Series point leader remains 1 lap down, but he'll be right alongside Irvan on the restart. During that last run of green flag racing, he did get past Jeff Gordon, but couldn't close enough on Irvan once that caution flag came out. Shauna Robinson has returned to the race. Ward Burton repaired the damage on the right side.
Here comes Kenny Wallace turning right back down pit road, and he almost got lapped the time before. They've been working on this car repeatedly. He's been in every caution lap and worked on the car, and he's coming back in for some more work.
Let's get word.
Glenn brought the car back in. The problem right now is in their haste to get the car out, and the last time they didn't get all the lug nuts on the right rear, so that's going to be costly. Here is Steve Bird. Let's get a word with him. Steve, what was all that about? Why the major changes there?
Well, the car started pushing real bad, so we're trying to get a donut in our right rear to try to loosen it up coming out. We got it in. Let's see what happens now.
Okay, Kenny's got a lot of ground to make.
Green flag, and you see them fan out nearly 5 wide down into turn number 1, and Spencer turns Ward Burton. And into the fence he goes. Now, let's not put that one on Jimmy Spencer. Both those 2 cars were going for the same piece of asphalt. They're flying back to the line. Todd Bodine underneath Chuck Bound. Here's Earnhardt trying to split the 2 of them. The leaders will be single file, but boy, they're stacked up back behind them.
Here's Nemechek. He needs that lap back. He's trying everything he can, but he just can't get off the corner and get around the 4 car.
So Irvan prevails to the stripe, then Jeff Gordon. Jeff Burton is 3rd. Todd Bodine is 4th. we'll have to have another look, but surely Jimmy Spencer got down and into the corner. He and Ward Burton made contact down there in turn number 1.
Here we go.
Spencer's that bright colored car, orange and green on black.
See him right in the middle there. Oh, me, looked like he was racing with a 63 car on the left side. Chuck Bound drove off in the corner and he just got into the back of the 27 car. Ward Burton, this is the second time he's been, he spun here in the last few laps.
Here's another look from head on.
There's Spencer, the real bright colored hood. Gets right into the back of Ward Burton. It's hard to say, Ward was trying to get down that inside lane. Spencer was trying to hold off the 63 car, and boy, they just used up that part of the racetrack.
Well, that's just it. It is hard to say. You got 2 cars coming into a position, and the effect of what happened was Ward got spun and put into the wall. But hard to say from either angle whether he was coming down across the racetrack in front of Jimmy, whether Spencer slammed into the back of him, and the only 2 guys that know are, well, there's one of them, Ward Burton, and the other one's Spencer.
We've talked about how much braking it takes. And there's Spencer. He got his car sorted back out, and he's headed back out now.
And Burton will make a stop. May have flat-spotted tires on that.
Spencer ran exceptional up here earlier this year. They got the go sign up, and he's stopping.
I think he just needed to catch that tail end of the pack there.
Okay.
As they went by. And he'll do that. They'll put left side tires on Ward Burton's car.
Now, we said earlier you get 4 tires per position, but NASCAR takes in consideration that when you're in an accident or have a flat. So we know Ward Burton's been through about 8 tires already, so he's not on the 4-tire rule.
We're under caution with 64 laps complete. We've mentioned that New Hampshire is the nation's newest super speedway. Let's meet the man who made this dream reality. The famed short track promoter from Maine came to this sleepy little road course where they'd raced for some 50 years in this area, and with him he brought his dreams.
Yeah, I sold the other track in '86, and then this one came along in '89. When I say this one, it was just an old road course, and we always more or less wanted to have a super speedway, and it worked out well, and we bought the place and in 1990 started building it.
It was a scant 10 months from groundbreaking to completion, but there were interesting challenges along the way, like the Army Corps of Engineers and Inland Wetlands Commissions dealing with that pond in the center of the main oval.
We didn't have to go through the Corps because we didn't touch that in the middle. We left it alone. We went through the local, when I say local, the state wetlands board, and got everything. We couldn't touch that anyway, so we just left it the way it was.
Just 3 months after completion, the track hosted its first NASCAR Busch Grand National race. But there were other challenges to face, like the huge crowd and how to deal with it.
We had problems that day. We had a lot of traffic problems because we weren't geared for it. We had 1 lane going out, and today we have 3 lanes going out on south, and we have 2 north. They close the highway off, and it works out well. But, anything you have problems, but it was worth it.
Bob Bear, a man of vision, and it's become a reality. He's had Indy cars, Busch Series. What he wants most of all right now is a Winston Cup race at this facility for the track and for its New England base of fans. We're back under green. Taken just a moment ago, Ernie Irvan on the jump. Jeff Gordon in second. There's Nemechek back in third. And let's update you further on that Kenny Wallace pit stop. The lug nut was not left off. Rather, they had a strip lug nut on their pit stop, and thus had to come back in and replace it. Ward Burton very slow in turn number 3, trying to make it back around to pit road. He's had a tough day here.
It's one of those days, no matter what you do, you're in the wrong place. You just can't keep out of trouble on some days, and he's been in 2 accidents already. Looks like he's done his car in.
Burton making a very slow ride to pit road, and he goes to the garage, joining Morgan Shepherd as being out of the race here. 68 laps complete, and this is the man who's led every one of them, Ernie Irvan. Now he's got Jeff Gordon in pursuit. Jeff Burton riding in third now, and it's Earnhardt up to 4th. Todd Bodine is 5th. Joe Bessie 6th. Mike McLaughlin 7th. Dave Rezendes is 8th. We'll be right back.
This week on Crooked Chase, Travis Tritt introduces us to his traveling companion.
And hot country hunks Mark Chestnut and Marty Stewart join us live. It's all coming up this week.
Crooked Chase, a full hour live weeknights on TNN.
Yes, it's a beautiful country we live in. And as TNN explores America all this year, we've got just what you need to really get around and see the sights. We're giving away, that's right, giving away a grand prize including a brand new Winnebago Brave worth $90,000. A 1992 Dodge truck, retail value $19,000. And 500 gallons of gasoline to get you around. And that's just the grand prize. First prize, a 10-day trip for two to beautiful Hawaii plus $1,500 spending money. And 500 seconds at your favorite retail location for a shopping spree of up to $20,000. To enter, call 1-900-370-4866. You can enter as often as you like. Each call costs 95 cents per minute. Or send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to this address. Or you can pick up an entry form at your local Winnebago dealer. And wait, there's more. 10 cruises for two around Alaska, including airfare and spending money. With all these great prizes to win, you better get your entries in soon for the TNN Explores America Sweepstakes.
No change in the top 5 here at 70 laps, though there's about to be in turn 3. Ernie Irvan leads this race, and Jeff Gordon's been trying to hang on to the second spot. He has just given it up, though, to Jeff Burton, showing strength.
Yeah, when they stacked up there just a little bit, Earnhardt got around the car of Nemechek, and that let Todd Bodine got pinned behind Nemechek, so it dropped him off the pace just a little bit. The 8 car really running right now. Burton won the race earlier this year, and he said he had the same setup on the car, and he seemed to be the right one.
He's moved to second and sets off in pursuit of Ernie Irvan, the race leader. Gordon in third, Earnhardt now fourth. Nemechek is a lap down, so Todd Bodine is fifth. Give a call to Joe Bessie in that blue and white AC Delco car number 9. Bessie having a good run here. He's the 6th place car. None of these cars have made pit stops.
Yeah, Bessie qualified 16th place, and he's moved right up there. He's gaining on it all day long.
He's just out of the picture to your right. Ward Burton has gone to the garage area. Let's check with Mark Garrow.
Well, Ward Burton was sort of sailing along, everything basically okay, then bam, bam, 2 hard punches.
Yeah, the first punch, driver just didn't know where I was at and cut me off. Wasn't in too bad shape after that. Then the second time I was going down low, and one of the cars got me, and then getting ready to come back around, and the motor blew. One of them damn days. We just can't seem to get any luck, and it's not running worth a hoot on the short track.
Ever since Ward Burton won here on TNN back at Rockingham, it's been an up and down, pretty much a rough season for him. He's out of it again today.
Dale Earnhardt is up with it. He's moved to third around Jeff Gordon. There's Jeff Burton, Ward's brother, in second, black number 8 car, the Philmar car.
He's running a little bit different line, Mike. He's going in the corner, and the car is moving out on him. He's staying out off the line a little bit further than the other guys. I don't know if he's wanting to do that or if the car, he said the brakes were soft. He might not be able to get the car slowed down like he wants to in the corner, but he's running kind of a weird line, but he's really making up a lot of ground over it.
It is interesting. You go down there in 1 and 2, he's almost squaring off the corner, making 2 corners out of it, instead of a smooth run around the bottom like you see them doing here in 3 and 4. Even here, he's about a lane up from the bottom of the racetrack. Yep. Earnhardt might have found something that works here. Trouble in 4. 1 car spinning. That's Kelly Moore. And he rights it and gets back going once again. There will be no caution.
Boy, that's a Joey Chitwood move there. He spun it 360 and shifted gears, kept going.
There he is, bottom of your screen, going off into turn 1. No apparent damage. Kelly Moore had run up into the top 10 until just before his pit stop, made that spin and just kept on going. Irvan back around through the same area, so nothing on the racetrack, apparently.
Now, let me tell you what happens a lot of times, Mike. He was on the outside lane. A lot of times a guy calls and say, hey, so-and-so is running high and he's making up ground. They might be getting a few calls, say, hey, the Earnhardt car is running a little bit higher and he's going faster, and you tiptoe out there and try it, and sometimes it doesn't stick. He just looped it out there on the outside.
No damage, and he continued. There's a look at Jeff Burton, and now back with the leader, Ernie Irvan. 77 laps complete. A little more than quarter distance here. There's the interval. Back to second and third place. Burton and Earnhardt. Then the white car of Jeff Gordon. And Joe Nemechek in there with that pack. There's Irvan. Two black cars, Earnhardt, and Gordon, and the rest of that pack that's racing along for third. Todd Bodine, Joe Bessie, and Mike McLaughlin up there with that bunch. Second and third place. Now, Burton has not changed his line. He's staying on the bottom of the racetrack. Here's that pack. There's Gordon, the yellow and white car of Nemechek, one lap down. Then Todd Bodine, the red car, Joe Bessie in blue and white. Then the white lapped car of Ron Lamell, and that's Mike McLaughlin just off the picture to the right.
It looks like Bodine and Bessie's car are getting a little bit better, and the other two in front of them are fading a little bit. They're able to come up there and put a little bit more heat on those guys in front of them. It looks like the 34 and the 9 car are getting stronger and stronger.
A lot of that may be due to Nemechek nipping away at Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon has fell way back from the time that Earnhardt got around him. He might be having some kind of problem just backing his whole line of traffic up.
Todd Bodine dropped to the bottom there to move on Nemechek, but Joe's got a lot of motor down the straightaway.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of motivation. He's got to try to stay where he's at and hope for a caution, and still somewhere during the course of this race get that lap back, but he's going to lose a lot of valuable points.
It's the 87 car, the point leader, Joe Nemechek, as they battle along there from 4th on back. 4th through 8th, the gold car of McLaughlin in 8th spot at the tail end of that pack. Behind them, Jason Keller is 9th, and Dave Rezendes is 10th with Ricky Craven. We have 81 laps on the board. Ernie Irvan has once again opened up a lead of not quite half a straightaway on the rest of the field.
If you thought Banana George Blair had found the fountain of youth,
I'm 77 and still barefooting.
you'd be half right, because the one he's found is actually for his car. With a little Armor All Protectant, George restores the beauty of his dashboard and seats, and in minutes it helps protect his tires from fading and aging.
It keeps my car looking almost as good as me.
There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent. Armor All.
I hope my teeth don't fall out.
I feel it makes a very big difference to have the right oil in your automobile. You've made an investment in an automobile, so you should use a quality lubricant to protect that. I would recommend Pennzoil to anyone. The same quality Pennzoil that goes into this race car, you can also use and buy right off the shelf and put in your own automobile to drive on the street. Pennzoil is the only product I've ever used. The investment I've made in my automobile is going to be worthwhile because of Pennzoil's protection. Pennzoil, performance, protection, and quality.
Iron Mike on rust.
I hate rust.
Iron Mike on tough.
This is tough, rust tough. This is rust. Oleum? The dictionary defines tough as strong, not easily influenced, like me. The definition of oleum is, we sprayed this rusty metal plate with fast-drying rust tough, exposed the rusted metal, then placed it in the torture salt fog chamber. The rust didn't spread, it stayed tough. You want tough? What do you want? Oleum. Got rust? Get tough. Rust tough.
What's bright red, feather light, and comes with an extra long cord? Guess again, it's the Dirt Devil Hand Vac. That powerful revolving brush cleans it all, from pet hair and dirt to stairs, cars, and little messes. So get the Dirt Devil Hand Vac and lighten up.
TNN's exclusive coverage of the Chevy Dealers of New England 250 is being brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. 85 laps complete. Ernie Irvan, still class of the field, half straightaway lead on Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt, second and third. Jeff Gordon in fourth, Todd Bodine in fifth, sixth is Joe Bessie, seventh is Mike McLaughlin. Jason Keller unofficially 8th, Ricky Craven 9th, Dave Rezendes 10th, and then it's Kenny Schrader, Robert Presley, and Tracy Leslie. Looking at second place race right here. First of the Busch North drivers remains Dick McCabe ahead of Mike Stefanik and Jeff Berry, according to our unofficial tally. Neil, it's not going to be too long before we see pit stops. We've had 3 caution flags, but none of the top 9 or 10 drivers chose to stop on any of them.
You know, when you do that, you're just gambling, saying, hey, there's a lot of cautions happening, and maybe we'll catch one. But we're talking to some of the guys in the pits, and they're looking around 105, 110 laps to pit. And if the caution doesn't come out before long, these guys are going to have to make green flag stops, and it'll cost the ones that stayed out.
Out of the race today, Morgan Shepherd with apparent engine trouble. Ward Burton as a result of those accidents and then losing an engine. And Mike Rowe, Terry Labonte has just turned into the garage area, the third-place qualifier. He was in danger of going a lap down within the next 10 or 12 laps or so, but for some reason has brought his Sunoco car to the garage and out of this race. 88 laps complete. Jeff Burton lapping past Shauna Robinson, carrying one of our in-car cameras today. She got caught up in the incident with Ward Burton, and there she is looking ahead at the second and third place cars.
That really shows you the different line that the guys are running. Burton won the race here before he's able to run right around the bottom. Earnhardt's out there running on the outside line. What's the difference right here? You see one car down the apron, one running high out there, and I don't know if it's a line that you'd like to run so much as he's chasing the race car around. It's a new car for him, but Burton's car, he won the earlier race, and that thing's in good shape right now.
Moving away from Shauna there. Polaroid, her sponsor, is headquartered in Boston. They've got a lot of folks up here today. Second and third place. Phil Martocci car and the Teresa Earnhardt car running second and third. Wide groove there in turns 1 and 2.
A lot of braking getting in the corner here. These things get up more speed than you would think on a flat track like this. I mean, it takes a tremendous amount of brakes to get the car slowed down. When you mentioned Martinsville before, Mike, you hit the nail on the head. This is just a great big old Martinsville.
Here's Ernie Irvin, the race leader, coming across to complete 91 laps. We'll drift back and find a second place car from Irvin here in a moment. Got a lap car separating him from second and third. Back straightaway. And here's the race for fourth on back. You see Jeff Gordon on the left side of your screen in the Baby Ruth Ford. Then the Hungry Jack car for Todd Bodine, 34. Joe Bessie driving for AC Delco in number 9. Mike McLaughlin in the Coors Light car. There's a guy that I would be surprised if he wasn't on the Busch Tour full-time down south next fall. He's out of New York State, but he's given quite a ride in occasional appearances. Has 3 wins at this racetrack, driving that gold Coors Light car.
Not only that, anything he ever drives, he wins in.
Yep.
The guy's just a good winning race car driver, and they'll find a way to get in a division and excel, and the Busch Series is where he's headed right now.
Was a protege of and patterned his driving style after the late Richie Evans. The driver of 51, Mike McLaughlin. He's taken a spot from Joe Bessie and moves up a notch. 4 career wins to this season on the Busch North Tour for McLaughlin.
Mike, is one thing we haven't mentioned. The Northern Tour guys aren't used to running the radial tire. And the Busch guys from the South, they run them every week, and they're the first one to tell you it took them a while. The Southern guys, it took them a few races to figure it out. So when they come up here, it's tough on these Northern guys to bolt these radials on. They run a different tire in this part of the country, to bolt those things on and know where to go directly. And for him to be running this good, his team's done a lot of work, and they're on top of the situation.
The reason is, even though the cars are similar north to south, apparently the distribution on the radial racing tires is still somewhat restricted in the manufacturing capacity, and they're still somewhat in the development stage. That's why you see them in all the Busch races down south, or as many as possible, but not so much up here for the North Series, except in the combined races. Green flag pit stops appear to have begun. Dave Dion of Hudson, New Hampshire, his Ford, one of the few V8 powered cars in the field, has made a stop. The Busch North Series allows V8 power plants as well as V6s. So he's made a pit stop and trying to come back up to speed in the back straightaway. We'll see if we see any further activity down there along pit road. 95 laps just completed by Ernie Irvin. Here's that race from fourth on back. Jeff Gordon, now Todd Bodine, 5th, Mike McLaughlin, 6th, Joe Bessie, 7th.
This is when you start second-guessing yourself. Well, why didn't I pit on that last caution? But they were coming so quick, one right after another, you think, well, surely there'll be another caution before we need fuel. But right now, these leaders are hung out with no fuel in the cars, and if they don't get a caution, they're going to make green flag stops, and it's going to really set them back.
Right, we're at lap 96. The caution flags came out at lap 19, lap 43, and lap 56. So it's been quite a while here since we've had a caution flag. Kenny Wallace has just dropped a lap to race leader Ernie Irvin.
Yeah, evidently the adjustments they made to his car didn't correct the problem, because he's falling back even further.
Jeff Gordon, who started 8th today for Bill Davis in the Ford, And Todd Bodine, boy, talk about Harry Gant being Mr. September. If Todd Bodine hasn't become Mr. August, Mr. July and August here, as we showed you in the Haviland update, rising to second in the point standings. Say the biscuits are ready. Might see him in a Winston Cup car next year. Now, there's Ernie Irvin in traffic. Jamie Obey, the 41 car, the 3-time Busch North champion, just back of him, and Tom Bowles has just been lapped by the race leader, the Connecticut driver in car number 76, and Kelly Moore, who ran so well at the start of the race. Remember, he was one of the drivers that pitted under caution. You don't get that good track position on the restart, and Irvin's been able to come all the way around, and now he's put Kelly Moore a lap down.
Right here behind these guys, the second place car, Burton, the traffic with the 4 car just cleared. He's getting caught up in that. It's cost him a little bit of time right there. Now the 4 car has clean traffic in front of him. Here we go. We see there's a second place car right back there hung up in that traffic.
That's quite a jam. That's Kelly Moore right behind Irvin. Then there's Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt, the second and third black cars working traffic.
That leading that race is such a key factor because they're calling on the radio and they say the 4 car is leading the race, he's coming, and that tells you to move over. But they don't call you and say the 8 car is running second, move over, the 3 car is running third, move over. They usually tell you that lead car, and he gets more right away than anyone on the racetrack. So it's a big key to be leading the race and get a lot cleaner racetrack to run on.
Now the leaders have clear sailing, but for Kelly Moore as they work their way by it. And Earnhardt had got a chance to move around a piece of lap traffic, but he still has Kelly Moore separating him from Jeff Burton in second place. This is all going to change momentarily when green flag pit stops begin. We've now gone 100 laps. This is the man that's led every one of them, Ernie Irvin, in the Kodak Oldsmobile.
If this was late in the race, they would know exactly how many laps they could run, but you've got to take into consideration they set on pit road. They let the motors run for 1 minute, warming them up. They ran several caution laps. They really don't have a feel yet for what kind of fuel mileage they're getting. So I would think they're going to have to be conservative and come in a little bit early. And if you run out of gas right past the start-finish line here, you're going to lose several laps before you get back around. So they're going to have to be coming in pretty soon.
Here's third on back, and you see that Mike McLaughlin has caught and is about to go by Jeff Gordon on the outside.
There's Joe Bessie going right with him. He's riding with him on the back there. McLaughlin's making the move around him on the outside, the tough way around.
He's out there in the Dale Earnhardt groove. Clyde McLeod used to be his crew chief in the modifieds. Now Todd Bodine's crew chief in the Busch Series.
There's Bessie trying to make the same pass. Looks like he pulls it off getting in the first turn.
And doing it on the outside, out in the Earnhardt groove. So that'll drop Jeff Gordon back, and he's drifting a little further back. Interesting here. Irvin comes around again, completes 102. Still no activity on pit road.
We got a big spin and wreck down here in the first turn, Mike.
4 cars are involved in it down in turn number 1 up near the wall. Jeff Berry is that red car with the yellow numerals. Ed Ferree is involved. And there are 2 other cars. Chuck Bound is one of them. Chuck Bound is driven away from that one, and there is 1 car remaining.
And this is when these leaders say, boy, I knew we'd get a caution to put some fuel in these things. Fell right in their lap. The caution came perfect for those guys.
1 car left down at turn 1. I think that's Dale Shaw in the number 60 car. We'll have another look here and see. Ed Ferree up in the wall, and that is Dale Shaw going around.
There's another car up in front of him already around.
Jeff Berry in the 22, and way down to the inside, or way up against Shaw's, is Chuck Bound's car.
Looked like he hit, but I don't think Chuck was hit real hard at the car. Maybe didn't do a lot of damage to it.
There's Shaw.
The car took a good shot right in the wheel area right there, and he tore up the rear end stuff. He's got to recrank and moving.
Notice he's on Hoosiers, as a good number of these cars are today. Shaw out of New Hampshire. A little bit of sheet metal damage to Chuck Bound, it's reported, but nothing drastic. So here is Irvin, and he'll have the luxury of pitting under caution, being the first car to pit lane.
Yeah, these guys were fixing to have to pay a price for staying out. Now they're going to get a free ride in and fill these things up with fuel, put some tires on them. Dave
Dion was the only driver who made a pit stop under green among the contenders. this won't much change the complexion of this race. There's Ernie Irvin crew servicing his car. And just behind him, Jeff Burton. Joe Bessie is in, Jeff Gordon, Tom Bowles, Ricky Craven, Earnhardt, Schrader, Presley, Butch Miller, Tracy Leslie, Spencer, Labonte, and Houston. Tom Peck to look at the Tony Uri crew working on Earnhardt's car. Put up on Robert Presley. Won't be much of a change in the running order. Schrader gets a good run out of pit road. He'll be up there among the 5 leaders when we go back to green. We're under caution. 4th one of the day. Give us a chance to take this break from New Hampshire International Speedway. We'll be right back.
Cold filtered. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Splitfire earned a United States patent. Splitfire doesn't look like any other spark plug. And the patented Splitfire doesn't work like any other spark plug.
5 extra horsepower by merely installing these plugs. Quicker in the quarter mile. A 4.8% gain in mileage.
There's nothing like a Splitfire. You'll get more power and more mileage, or your money back. Get the guaranteed Splitfire advantage at leading automotive stores from coast to coast.
I'm a big man.
Why do so many men stick with Bic?
I'm a big man.
Because there's a Bic for every beard. Bic Regular, a great shave at a great price.
I'm a big man.
Bic Sensitive, Bic Babies, tender skin. Bic Metal, slim head, total control.
Yeah, I'm a big man.
I'm a big man.
Regular, sensitive, metal.
I'm a big man.
The bright, invigorating scent of Coast. Discover how it wakes you up and jumpstarts your day.
Up and at 'em.
Coast, the eye-opener.
Today, live on TNN Motorsports. The ASA is pulling out all the stops, pitting experience against young, hungry competitors, turning up the heat and making this last live televised race the one to see. And if history is right, this should be a fight to the finish. It's the 25th anniversary of the ASA AC Delco Challenge Series. Live from Alberta, Canada. Players Limited 500 today, 4 p.m. Eastern, live, only on TNN Motorsports.
We're going to go back and see if we can reach Dale. He's been talking on the radio and see if we can get a hold of him. Dale, this is Neil. Can you hear me down there?
You answer him back on the TV. Neil's going to tell who?
Can you hear me down there, Dale?
Tell me what Neil's saying.
They're having to relay the message to Dale.
And
We're
I'll
trying to
tell
reach
you,
him.
and then you just talk to Neil.
Let's see if we can get it sorted out here. Dale, this is Neil. Can you hear me? How's the car running down there, Dale? Boy, we're having a little
Just
bit...
tell Neil how the car's running.
How's the car running down there, Dale?
Well, he's doing pretty good there with Daddy. Got right side that time. We saved our last for a little later on. Maybe get another 50-lap run here on his left. Things are going pretty good. Car's working pretty good. It's just still a tick tight right off the corner, but it's real good through the corner. So we just sort of take care of it like we've been doing. See if we can get on down to the end before we race them.
What's he calling me Daddy for? I guess he heard David say Daddy down at Volusia.
Sure. Yeah. David was calling you Daddy on the radio all day, so Dale's kind of picked up with it. 107 laps complete. Before we go back to green here, let's sneak in one little commercial. We'll be right back to New Hampshire after this.
A brand new week on Miller & Company. Guests include Mark Chestnut, Tom T. Hall, and T.G. Shepard. Plus, actor Jim Varney tells us the importance of being earnest. Know what I mean?
Miller and Company. Weekdays, 1 Eastern on TNN.
Yes, it's a beautiful country.
Versus Camacho, WBC Championship, September 12th. Live on pay-per-view TV. Call now.
Here comes Pickett's charge down to turn number 1, not to Gettysburg, but they're 3 wide getting into the corner. And that bright yellow car number 0, the Fisher snowplow car of Dick McCabe, the Busch North Point leader, is the race leader. Earnhardt takes second away from Ernie Irvin, and he is going for the lead.
Well, he got up under McCabe off the corner. The 4 car was boxed on the outside. Here comes Ernie right back at him on the inside.
Jeff Gordon's moved to 3rd in that white Ford number 1. McCabe now the 4th place car after pit stops under caution. Kenny Wallace a lap down, showing right up there with the leaders. But he's a lap back just ahead of McCabe's, or just behind McCabe's car.
This is what's going to be interesting here. That line that Dale runs in and really moves out to the outside sure opens the door up for the 4 car to get under there. But then coming off the corner, Dale's able to kind of close the door on him. It's going to be, Ernie's going to have to get under him right in the middle of the corner to be able to make the pass.
They'll need to make at least 1 more pit stop in this one. And
right
here
there.
goes Irvin.
There he is, right on the inside. That car of Irvin's has been so strong all week long. I think everybody in the garage was afraid this was what's going to happen. He'd be able to just get out front and ride.
All we need to have Don Meredith to sing, turn out the lights. The party, for now, is over.
I don't know. I tell you, the last race here, every time somebody got in the lead, they went backwards.
Yeah, that's true. Here's Jeff Gordon coming for 2nd on the inside of Earnhardt, who had a brief flirtation with the lead. Now, this time, unlike those past restarts, they're strung out 2 wide pretty well through the back of the pack. They didn't go single file. Irvin, Gordon, and Earnhardt. That's the front 3. Jeff Burton's picked up 4th now as they shake out from the restart. Then Chuck Bound. Chuck made a brief stop and got back out. I believe he's still on the lead lap. We'll double check. We're showing 27 cars on the lead lap. How about this pack?
Boy, these guys are battling right here. This is probably back 10th and 11th and 12th in that area of the race, but they're going at it just like they were going for the lead. There's Spencer down on the inside, getting up under Labonte up off the 2nd turn. Spencer in the car with a bright numeral 20 on it. Gets under Labonte going down there. There's Tracy Leslie right in behind him. Leslie's trying to get in. When one guy opens the door like that, Leslie says, hey, let me get on in here while the door's open. So I'm touched just a little bit.
Make that about 15th spot, Neil, right where Spencer is. Bobby Labonte, the Slim Jim car with a yellow splitter right with him. Top of your picture there. Dave Resendiz at 79. He's had a good run here today. 22, Jeff Berry's a lap down. Somebody goes way high out there, and it's Labonte, and he pays the price.
Got out there in no man's land. It looks like he might have more problem than just getting out of line. He's running real slow down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and they're moving around in his pit. He drifted right back out of the picture and to the back of the pack. 6th place race here. Mike McLaughlin in 51, Coors car, holding on a 6th spot, just behind the 0, Dick McCabe. Then the lap car of Lamell, then the 9 of Joe Bessie, trying to move his way back for the front. There's 14, Mike Stefanik, right side of the picture, moving up.
McLaughlin and Bessie, they've been right there together all day.
Yeah.
The 2 of them, they've been able to work their way to the front.
Jamie Obie in 41, the 3-time champion of the North Series. And he's a lap off the pace.
There's Bessie down on the inside trying to get around the lap car. McLaughlin has already cleared that car. Now Bessie's working to get under him.
And there's Stefanik in 14. Former modified national champ just coming into view. Interesting, he's been racing this year for the Yukon Children's Cancer Fund in Farmington, Connecticut. Really made a lot of kids happy and got them involved in the sport of auto racing and pumping them up. So he's having a good run here today and racing for cancer as well as for his own career. Jimmy Spencer and Kelly Moore moving past the Tom Bowles car. And there's Kenny Schrader, the white and green Kodiak car moving up into view. Again, back at about 14th position.
Spencer made a good move there. They were going in the corner. They were fixing to get caught 3 abreast. He backed off just a little bit, let them get on in there. Made it through the corner.
Now Schrader coming up.
This car, the 11 car, going real high in the 3rd, 4th turn, right up against the wall.
You'll see him here come into your picture as he comes back down the racetrack, but he got way up into the marbles. Ron Lamel.
Michael, after this restart, you mentioned we're seeing a lot more 2 abreast racing. I think they finally realized, hey, I can get out here on the outside of this racetrack, and I can go on and race. So they're getting a little more confidence with the outside of the track, and they're seeing some of the good cars moving out there and make some passes.
There in turn 2, Schrader on the left side of your screen made the move high. Dave Resendiz tried to go low and ended up backing up a spot as they lapped past Tom Bowles. So Schrader's worked his way back up into the top 15 spots. Ooh, Bowles cuts way across the racetrack just in front of the 12 car. An anxious moment for Tommy Ellis. From New Hampshire, we'll be right back after this.
Banana George Blair does a pretty good job of staying young. We just help him out with the dash, seats, and tires of his car. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent, Armor All Protectant.
Here's the advertising idea on Wendy's new bacon cheddar cheeseburger.
We see clouds, and then a voice says, Wendy's new bacon cheddar cheeseburger, eat it.
That's it?
That's it.
Gee, I thought we'd show a quarter pound of fresh beef, 3 strips of bacon, and cheddar cheese sauce, all on a toasted Kaiser bun. You know, make people hungry, because it's a big sandwich.
Forget clouds. What do you think about rocks?
Let me think about it.
Come try Wendy's new bacon cheddar cheeseburger.
Last year, Davey Allison added something new to his car. It wasn't wider tires or a slicker shape. It was the same Haviland Formula 3 motor oil you can buy, straight off the shelf, to add more life to your car with complete protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Now, we're not saying it was Haviland Formula 3 that gave Davey the energy to lead more major NASCAR races than anyone last year and win this year's Daytona 500. But we're not saying it wasn't.
How many this time? 8 cavities. 14 cavities? I didn't think I had that many teeth. They're gonna have to drill. My parents will be very upset.
Parents today hope their kids won't have to go through what they went through. Luckily, today's kids use the toothpaste more dentists recommend, Crest. Crest fluoride formula strengthens tooth enamel, helping to protect against cavities.
Another great checkup. Yes. Woo, woo, woo. Later, dude.
Crest, the dentist's choice, is the easy choice.
It's been fun.
That big boss man is really a jerk.
Time magazine calls him a Renaissance man in a bolo top. Rodney Crowell in concert on a late night in Nashville. Monday on TNN.
One lap from halfway at New Hampshire International Speedway. The Chevy dealers of New England 250. Ernie Irvin in command. Dick McCabe and Dale Earnhardt each led very briefly. But it's Irvin, Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, and Dale Earnhardt, the front 4. And he's just opened up now a lead of, well, the second place car enters turn 2 as Irvin exits turn 2 down the straightaway. That translates to about half a straightaway lead for the Kodak Oldsmobile. Buick powered. Is it Carl Wagner who builds the engines for Ernie?
Wagner builds the motors in that thing. It's an Oldsmobile with a Buick with a bunch of Chevrolet parts on it.
Let's look back for second place, and here's Jeff Gordon. He's got his hands full with Jeff Burton right now. Dale Earnhardt and Kenny Wallace slammed together there in the front straightaway. Now that's Wallace being lapped by Earnhardt. Came down there, and now for second place, Burton has gone past Jeff Gordon with Joe Nemechek, the lapped car, the point leader, right in the middle of all that.
Burton was able the last 2 laps to get up under him off the second turn and couldn't make it stick, and that time he got up under him and cleared him. Looks like he's going to drive away from him somehow.
So we're back to the running order almost the way it was before pit stops. The one difference being Todd Bodine was in the front 5 before the pit stops under caution. He restarted way back in the field and has been gaining spots, but is out of the picture right this minute. It's Irvin, the number 8 car. There's Jeff Burton, TIC Financial car. Then there's Nemechek a lap down. And Dale Earnhardt. Let's have a look at the Napa field standing update, brought to you by Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. Here's how they were running at 120 laps. There's Burton and Nemechek going past and on by.
McLaughlin's right in the middle of it, just like he was before.
Yes.
His car seemed to get better as they ran along. There's a chance that as this thing wears on down, he'll come on back to the front even closer.
All these cars are on the lead lap that we're showing you here. Craven, defending winner of this race.
Well, look at Nemechek. He got around the Burton car. He's got to be sick. He had that problem early with a broken spark plug. He's got a car capable of running up right in the front with a chance to win the race, and he's a lap down. And when somebody is as dominant as the 4 car of Irvin, it's almost impossible to get that lap back.
Joe seems to have a lot of engine today. He's got good horsepower, but he's just not cutting through the corners, especially going into the turn as well as Irvin. And if you're going to beat the guy in the restart, you've got to get into turn 1 to get position on him, and nobody's been able to do that very much on Irvin today.
Now it looks like Nemechek's got everybody beat but the 4 car, but that's saying a lot. Nobody can handle him today.
Not so far, but we're still 120 laps to go here at New Hampshire. Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon, 2 of the young lions on this tour, both with bright futures ahead. Ernie Irvin in the Oldsmobile leads it at 131 laps. Jeff Burton, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, and the North's Dick McKay, the top 5.
A puzzle. With so many stomach remedies around, how do you know which you can take for heartburn? And for diarrhea? And for upset stomach? You take Pepto-Bismol to relieve most any common stomach problem: heartburn, upset stomach, and diarrhea. So who needs anything else? That is a puzzle. Pepto-Bismol's the only one you need.
Oh, this athlete's foot. The itching, the burning.
And the odor. Phew.
Stop the itch and the odor with new Odor Eaters Athlete's Foot Cream.
Odor Eaters for athlete's foot?
Look, Odor Eaters Cream cures itching, burning athlete's foot while it controls that awful odor. Yet it costs less than any of these.
No more athlete's foot.
And no more odor.
New Odor Eaters Athlete's Foot Cream. Powder and spray, too.
Anything you can handle, we can handle. Yokohama High Performance Tires.
It's in his head, his heart, in every muscle. The energy to go further. Texaco System 3 gasolines put this kind of energy to work for you on the road. System 3 reduces deposits and cleans your engine in all octane grades to help put the heart and muscle back into older cars and keep new cars running like him.
TNN's exclusive coverage of the Chevy dealers of New England 250 is being brought to you by Texaco, official sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. As much as Ernie Irvin has dominated this race, he is gone. To the garage, that is. Here's your new leader, Jeff Burton, inherits the lead as Irvin falls out and goes to the garage area. Neil, deja vu?
Well, I tell you, earlier we've talked about this track. It's tough on equipment. Here was a battle for second place. There's Earnhardt trying to get up under Jeff Gordon. But this thing is so tough on equipment, you get the lead in the race and you think you got it under control and you just fall out. And just what happened to the 4 car. He just dropped out like he's just a cakewalk. There's Earnhardt trying to get up under Gordon.
And he will here at turn 2. Ernie Irvan had them all wore down and wore out. Dropped out of the race, and here they are racing again.
Yeah, well, this
renewed life.
We almost had one thing that's not in this shot to think about is Nemechek is out in front of the leader. If the caution should come out, he'll get that lap back. Here's Earnhardt and Gordon racing hard. It's about as close as you can get right there. They're leaning on each other pretty good.
Leave a lot of room there.
Gordon's a good little racer, and he's got a lot of confidence, and I'm sure he's having a ball there racing with Earnhardt.
Mark Garrow is in the garage with Ernie Irvan.
For the second week in a row, Ernie Irvan had an awesome race car that just didn't make the checkered flag.
Yeah, we evidently, this Kodak film Chevrolet lost something in the ignition or something, and short track cars only got one ignition in it, but car ran real good. The guys did a great job, and the motor just didn't quite have what it took to finish.
Your crew chief Smith told me during the race that you had radioed to him and said this is one of the best race cars I've ever sat in. I'm just backing off early and still pulling away.
It's unbelievable how good this. You didn't turn the wheels 2 inches. It's just an awesome little race car. Mike Laughlin built it, and we're proud to be the owners of it.
Ernie Irvan's still smiling after dropping out early in the New England Chevy Dealers 250.
Won't be a big paycheck, but they'll know he was here because he just flat wore him out while he was in the race.
It's easy to smile when you fall out like that. Now, what's bad is when you're running in the rear and they blow up. But as good as he was running, he can go back home and knows he's got him covered the next one he goes to.
Let's set the field for you now at 139 laps, and the whole complexion of this race has changed. Up front, it is Jeff Burton, the TIC financial car, the Phil Martocci machine right there. Going down the backstretch as we show him lapping past Stub Fadden of New Hampshire. A ways back in second will be Dale Earnhardt, and in third, Jeff Gordon. All within the same straightaway. Here's fourth, fifth, and sixth. Jimmy Spencer in the 20, Joe Bessie in the 9. They have just made the move on Dick McCabe, a fellow who supplies bait to the lobster fishermen in Maine full-time and races as a hobby. Has done real well on this North Tour for many, many years. So McCabe is right up there with the program as they roll off into turn 1. 140 laps complete. Spencer on back as we watch from Shauna Robinson's car. Down the back straightaway. And a look at the new front 5 here at New Hampshire. We'll be back after these messages.
It was unreal. You woke up with morning breath. You were meeting Miss Wonderful for breakfast, and instead of minty fresh scope, where's my scope? There was something from the Medicine-y mouthwash. It looked blue, but it still smelled somewhat medicine-y. I need my scope. It's okay. Relax. It was all a dream. You do have scope. It's minty through and through and kills 90% of morning breath bacteria. So you use minty fresh scope, and you kiss morning breath goodbye.
If you thought Banana George Blair had found the fountain of youth,
I'm 77 and still barefooting.
You'd be half right, because the one he's found is actually for his car. With a little Armor All protectant, George restores the beauty of his dashboard and seats, and in minutes it helps protect his tires from fading and aging.
It keeps my car looking almost as good as me.
There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent. Armor All.
I hope my teeth don't fall out.
Because you go all out, doesn't mean you got a stink. Not if you're wearing this. And here comes your chance to prove it. And you will, because Old Spice works. Man, does it work. Fights wetness, kills bacteria. The proof?
Hey, hotshot.
You're looking at her.
Old Spice antiperspirant for great odor protection. You demand proof, not promises.
Filtered Miller Genuine Draft. The world's a very cool place.
on the doorpost of Jeff Gordon's car, a black number 9. There's the garage area here. Still reeling from the loss of Clifford Allison in a practice crash in Michigan last week. Young, very talented driver from a great racing family. Lost to the racing community and still very heartfelt here as that loss is across the country. A trust fund has been established for Clifford's 3 children. Your donations are certainly welcome. Would be gladly welcomed at this time. Here is the address: National Bank of Commerce, 3059 Warrior River Road, Hueytown, Alabama, 35023. Address your check to the Children of Clifford Allison Trust Fund. Your donation would be most welcome. Jeff Gordon riding here in 3rd spot behind Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt as he goes up into turn number 3. And that number 9 we spoke of, that not just Jeff's, but many of the cars here are carrying and will in coming weeks. Look on the doorpost between the side windows there. Or look at it. Tough reminder of a very tough aspect of this business. Jeff Burton is your race leader. If you've been to the fridge, Ernie Irvin led the first 140 laps of this thing and then went to the garage. Ignition quit on his Oldsmobile. And that has put Burton, who started in 15th position today in his Olds, out at the front of the field. Robert Presley making a pit stop under green. Presley had just gone a lap down to the leaders. He came in here well up in the points. 3rd in the standings. And trouble in 2. Tom Peck has hit the wall. There's Peck's car out of turn number 2 in the back straightaway. Crashing here at lap 148. Now Joe Nemechek was out ahead of Jeff Burton. There's Burton. And Nemechek will handily beat him back to the line and get back onto the lead lap. So that is a big break for the point leader, Nemechek.
Not so much Mike that in the points thing, but he was capable of outrunning the leaders to get up there to get that lap back. Not only does it put him back on the lead lap, but in contention as strong as his car to win this race.
Tom Peck trying to pull away from turn number 2 where he's impacted the wall. Doesn't look like any severe damage. He is trying to drive that car away. Look at Mike Stefanik and Joe Nemechek hanging on to the lead lap here at New Hampshire. 150 laps complete next time by. There's Kenny Wallace riding along under the caution just behind Jeff Gordon's car. Now Wallace is 1 lap down as the pace car picks them up at turn number 3.
They've been working on that car right there of Wallace all day long, and it seems as though this last green flag run he was as best he's been all day. They've improved on the car, but he got a lap down early. It's going to be tough to get it back.
So we're under caution again, and let's mark this one as the 6th caution of the day. There was an error earlier. 149 laps. That's caution number 6, and here's your leader on pit road, Jeff Burton. Phil Martocci team. A little clean of the grill and fuel. They're just looking at the tires, Neil.
Yeah, that's a good thing about the Busch Series. They say 4 tires on you can use all day long. It's a tire saving thing. It's money saving. Here's Earnhardt. He had put 2 rights on earlier, so he's putting his 2 lefts on, and that'll be all he can use for the rest of the day.
Not only is it tire saving, it's lead saving for Jeff Burton. He may get out of the pits with the lead after taking on fuel only. Jeff Gordon's made his stop, and Todd Bodine, who went way to the back on the last restart after a pit stop, he's coming out of the pits in 3rd among the cars that pitted.
Even though he lost ground earlier, you brought up earlier, Mike, he's really been coming through the field, so his car's strong enough that even though he lost ground on the caution earlier, he came up to the front, and he's in real good position.
Let's watch from the in-car camera what happened out there in turn number 2. There's Tom Peck just ahead of Shauna Robinson under caution. Here's what happened.
Coming up on 2 over there. Peck's car, the back end just comes out from under him. Backs it right up against the wall.
And good job by Sean. A little lift and then right back in the throttle and get me away from here before something else happens. And she does. Bobby Labonte now on pit road. Chuck Bound, Kenny Wallace, all the cars that are 1 or more laps down are making pit stops. Tough break for Robert Presley. He had just pitted under green, and the caution comes out. Steve Grissom in the pits. We're at lap 151, 6th caution of the day. This one for Tom Peck, spin at turn 2. We'll be right back.
Hey, I like to save money as much as the next guy. But what are the odds that there's going to be a sale on the parts you need when your car breaks down? Hey, it's not going to happen. That's why I go to AutoZone. I mean, sure, you could wait around for a couple weeks and maybe beat their price by a few pennies someplace else. But I don't want to wait for a sale when I need a part. Now, what more could you ask for?
If only your tires could talk.
It's so tiring. He babies the car, then abuses me with messy vinyl cleaner. Hey, I'm rubber. No-touch tire care. Ooh, nice foam.
No-touch tire care. The first product to clean, shine, and protect tires in one easy step. No scrubbing, no dirty rags, no mess.
Yeah, clean and shiny. Oh, no. Bad doggy. Go away.
Treat your tires right with no-touch tire care.
The bright, invigorating scent of Coast. Discover how it wakes you up and jumpstarts your day.
Up and at 'em.
Coast, the eye-opener.
If potato chips are gonna cross your lips, keep them fresh, make them fine all the time. That's Pringles, pop the Pringles. Not like chips in a bag, they don't stay fresh, it's a brag. Candles bagged with buster pieces, get your hands full of greases. We've got whole crunchy chips, clean and crispy, to your lips. Pringles, pop the Pringles. Go for fresh because Pringles got them. Fresh, pop right to the bottom. Once you pop, you can't stop.
At New Hampshire, 152 laps complete. They will get a restart next lap. One more lap behind the safety car. Jeff Burton leads Todd Bodine, Dale Earnhardt, and then Jimmy Spencer. Let's find out what the leaders did on pit road. Mark Garrow has an update.
Mike and Neil, you were talking about Jeff Burton just taking on gas. On the previous yellow, when leader Ernie Irvin took on 2 tires, they took on all 4. They used their allotted tires at around the 100 lap mark. They've got what they've got. They're going to have to ride the rest of the way. Same thing for Jimmy Spencer. On the last pit stop, Jeff Gordon's team came in. They had saved their left tire change. They made that. They had to come around a second time. Car owner Bill Davis said, I made a mistake. I dropped the jack too soon. They came around, tightened up the lug nuts on the left rear, and they were back out onto the racetrack. Let's go further down pit road to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, Mark. I'm in Dale Earnhardt's pits, and I talked with his crew chief, Tony Urey. They came in and changed the left side tires. That's all the tires they can change under green. Under caution, any more changes will have to be made under green flag. I asked Tony what Dale said about the car. He said it's just his liking. He's just cooling his heels right now. He's looking to take the lead now that Ernie Irvin is gone.
Man, in tough shape then is Jeff Gordon, because after his stop now, instead of restarting about 5th or 6th, he's got to restart 19th. Here they come. 4 wide in the middle of the front straightaway. Back to turn number 1. It's Burton with the lead, but anybody's guess who's second.
You know, they said Jeff Burton used his tires earlier, so he's on older tires than some of these other guys. The question is, does he have enough to be able to hold the lead the rest of this race?
Number 2 in the points and number 2 in this race, Todd Bodine. Earnhardt is 3rd. That's Kenny Wallace a lap down, fighting on the outside. Bobby Labonte right there with him. Close company for Kenny Wallace. That's Todd Bodine, the 2nd place car. You'll see Earnhardt on the left coming into view. There he is, 3rd place, Dale Earnhardt.
Right up behind Todd Bodine up off the corner.
Bobby Labonte now on the inside of Kenny. And Robert Presley. Presley's a lap down. And I believe Labonte, 44, is as well. 1 lap back. We'll check that with scoring. Hard to hold them off from the outside, Neil.
I'm telling you, when they get under you, it's hard to do anything with them. Bodine's back in 3rd place right now, with Labonte challenging him on the inside.
Well, this gets into this Busch Grand National versus Winston Cup driver deal. Todd Bodine, maybe he could have battled Dale Earnhardt right there. He's trying to battle for a championship. Earnhardt's here racing for money. Jeff Burton's racing for money and points. And to build up on his career, I wonder if he'll let Earnhardt go without a fight.
It's hard to say. You know, Dale's down the inside. It's Burton's car. You got to keep in mind, Dale just put 2 left side tires on it. 2 fresh tires over Burton. Burton was able to race him and hold him off on 4 equal tires, but right now Dale's got 2 fresh tires on the inside, and that's where it shows up, right there in the corner.
And it shows Earnhardt using the bottom of the racetrack instead of passing up high as he was earlier on worn tires.
Well, they said they'd been making changes all day, and they got it where it felt a little bit better to him, and he's able to do a little more with the car than he was earlier, it looks like.
Right side of the screen, second and third place in points in the Busch Series. Robert Presley is a lap down, but he just went past Todd Bodine. So not for position in the race, but for track position, that was, at the back of the pack we're watching right now.
Caution's out.
And the pace car picks up the field in turn 2. Could be debris on the raceway, as there's no apparent incident to prompt the caution, and the track truck looks like it may be starting to roll down in turn number 2. 7th yellow.
They said there's a drive shaft on the racetrack. Somebody lost the drive shaft, and whoever lost the drive shaft, we should be able to pick them out pretty easily. They'll be pedaling down.
they'll be kind of coasting around, won't they? Well, we'll see. 158 laps complete. We're inside the century mark.
There's a
header pipe. Header pipe.
There's a tailpipe off one of the cars. Looked like a drive shaft to start with, but it is a tailpipe.
Same color. It's down in turn number 1. So with the caution, we'll take this pause and be right back to New Hampshire International.
Get a close-up view of the newest cars on the market and see how they perform on test drives. Check in with the auto experts on Road Test Magazine. Sunday on TNN, the Nashville Network.
The 34 Classic Street Rod. It's hot, available, very affordable, fun to drive, easy to assemble. Call 1-800-CLASSIC. For more information on this special offering of the 34 Classic Street Rod and other timeless classics from Classic Motor Carriages. Call now, 1-800-CLASSIC.
I'm most creative when I'm not trying to be. You know, when it just happens.
We've been loving all night, just about thrill me, everything right, hope it don't kill me.
The best stuff that I do, as far as I can tell, comes from my heart.
Every pretty little single solitary piece of my heart. She's crazy believing I told her so.
Rodney Crowell, A Late Night in Nashville, Monday at 10 Eastern on TNN.
We're back at Michigan International. Mike Joy with Neil Bonnet, Glenn Jarrett, and Mark Garrow are on pit road for TNN today. We're under caution with 160 laps complete. Watching Kenny Wallace's car. Jimmy Spencer just ahead. Kenny got a lap down early. Coming up next here on TNN Live, ASA Racing. They had 4.5 inches of snow the other day up in Calgary, but today they'll run the Players Limited 500, and you'll see it live here on TNN at 4 o'clock Eastern, or immediately following our telecast here of the Chevy Dealers 250 from New Hampshire. Should be a fun one up there.
I tell you what, it's just hard for me to believe, me living in Alabama, that 2 days ago they had 4 inches of snow. I guess it gets pretty cool up there.
Let me tell you, it was hard for our TV crew to believe. They weren't the least bit happy. Early start to skiing season, August in Calgary. But it is race day up there, and you'll see ASA Racing next. The Busch Grand National drivers from the Southern Tour have had quite a swing since they left here in New Hampshire in July. They went to Talladega, drove 1,200 miles, stopped at the shops along in the Charlotte area on the way, went to Raceway Park in Indianapolis, 526-mile trip. Then the next week, found them in Rougemont, North Carolina, 600 miles away. Brief stop at the shop to gas up the truck, off to Brooklyn, Michigan last week, 600-mile jaunt. Here they are 800 miles later in Loudon, New Hampshire. Next week, Bristol, Tennessee, and then Darlington, South Carolina. So the miles roll on for the Busch Grand National Tour.
It looks like you need a real good truck driver to run this circuit. I tell you, those guys can travel the roads.
Getting set to travel the 1 mile here at New Hampshire will be Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Burton, Todd Bodine, and Jimmy Spencer, the front four. There's Shauna Robinson back in the field. Fifth right now. Double check and see if that's Butch Miller or Joe Bessie running in the 5th spot. Miller is on the lead lap. So he would be the 5th place car with Joe Bessie in 6th, according to our unofficial rundown.
There's Bobby Labonte on the outside. He's a lap down, and he certainly needs to get that lap back right now if he can. He'll make a run at him.
Bobby Labonte 4th in the Busch points on the outside as they fan out down this wide front straightaway, 3 wide into turn 1. Things squeeze up just a little there. about still 3 wide coming out of turn 2 back at about 8th place.
Labonte was able to beat Burton off of the corner, which still gives him a shot at Earnhardt to get that lap back.
Earnhardt the leader, Burton in 2nd, Bodine in 3rd, Spencer 4th. Tightly bunched off turn 4. Joe Bessie now into 5th place. A little further back. Battle for 3rd. Spencer and Bodine going at it.
And they are going at it off of that corner. They were really together, getting it right in the middle of the corner.
I think the only fellow around that drives deeper into the corner than Jimmy Spencer is Earnhardt.
Yeah, and sometimes neither one of them make it.
Coming out
so
the other side.
Corner, yeah.
Yep, that's another thing.
But they have no fear when it comes to driving a car up in the corner like that.
And Bobby Labonte has his lap back from Earnhardt.
Labonte qualified 4th. This car is real quick, and we're right back in the same position that Nemechek had. Labonte cleared Dale. Now if the caution comes out, he's back in the hunt again.
Labonte, left side of your screen, now is on the tail end of the lead lap. Earnhardt right behind him. First and second spot, those 2 black cars of Earnhardt and Jeff Burton.
Labonte's car down there on the inside. Like, here's Joe Bessie, Nemechek, Schrader, group of good race cars right there. Bessie's been after him all day. Nemechek might have the fastest car on the racetrack.
And he's on the lead lap now. Dave Resendiz is 79. He's right in the thick of that battle. No room on the bottom left for Nemechek.
He took a look, and then he had a change of heart, which was a good move. Here he is sticking up. Now he's going to try it 3 abreast down the front straightaway. He's under Bessie. He's got to deal with Schrader when they get to the corner here.
And Schrader will take that line right away. Schrader finished 2nd to Earnhardt in that 50-lap Consi from yesterday. Fill out the last 4 spots in the field ahead of the provisionals.
Schrader slipped off last night and went off and ran a short track somewhere. He runs every time they have a chance. Ran 3rd at short track last night.
Yeah, he flew out to, trouble. 45, Jason Keller bangs the wall. Jeff Berry, number 22, spins, and there are 3 other cars up there in turn 4. Mike McLaughlin's in the wall.
Somebody put some oil down, Mike, because you started to see them lock them up spinning before they ever got into where they made contact with another car. It looked like somebody dropped some oil getting in that corner.
Mike Stefanik spun as part of that one. We mentioned Jeff Berry was in it. Jason Keller is the car that took a hard ride into the fence. Mike McLaughlin and Shauna Robinson were in that.
And that puts the 44 right back where we were talking about. Labonte's coming on around while the pace car picks up Earnhardt, so Labonte's back on the lead lap also. Jason Keller really ran well before this happened, Mike.
He did, Neil, and he was 3rd or 4th in his consolation race yesterday. Finished 3rd there, had a great run going.
Here's this group going in the corner here, but I don't know if the oil was put down after somebody made contact or whatever. There's Jason Keller. No, they got together right there. 72 car.
Look at 6 Tommy Houston.
Oh man, did he back it in the wall? And then from there on, everybody's locking it up, trying to get stopped. You can control these cars by not locking the brakes up. When you get in a panic situation, you overuse the brakes, you lock the wheels up, and head straight to the wall.
Folks up north know that from driving in the winter on the street. You get in an icy situation, lock the brake up, you got no steering, you got no control. Same thing here on the racetrack.
Right, but you don't have the luxury of backing off the brake, because if you do, you run into somebody in front of you. You just got to lock them down and try to steer through it.
Stub Fadden also got a lap back from leader Dale Earnhardt on that exchange. And Jason Keller's car is the one they will peel off the wall in turn 4. Let's see what Shauna Robinson saw. She's had an up-close look at many of these incidents today in the Polaroid car.
If she had her Polaroid running, she got a camera full today. Yeah, what she saw was cars going everywhere. Let's see if there's any contact. It sounded like she might have just barely backed up against the wall.
Away she went.
And there's a little piece of somebody's fender laying out there.
Yeah, it might have been off the 22 car, Jeff Berry. So we're under caution once again. 168 laps on this one. Earnhardt continues to lead. Jeff Burton, Jimmy Spencer, and the rest of the top 10.
Banana George Blair does a pretty good job of staying young. We just help him out with the dash, seats, and tires of his car. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent, Armor All Protectant.
Hey, is that... Yeah, it's my new Wagner power painter. Can you edge with it? Yeah, like this. In fact, it'll take care of just about any project you've been meaning to do.
Why am I painting this by hand?
Get a Wagner.
Guess who just got back today? Them wild-eyed boys that had been away.
The Miller Genuine Draft Rusty Wallace stock car is back in town. So you better hold on.
Spread the word around. Guess who's back in town?
It was unreal. You woke up with morning breath. You were meeting Miss Wonderful for breakfast, and instead of minty fresh scope... Where's my scope? There was something from the medicine-y mouthwash. It looked blue, but it still smelled somewhat medicine-y. I need my scope. It's okay. Relax. It was all a dream. You do have scope. It's minty through and through and kills 90% of morning breath bacteria. So you use minty fresh scope, and you kiss morning breath goodbye.
We've had Old Blaze for 16 years. I mean, this Old Blaze. My husband uses it for all of his hunting and fishing trips. He and the dog absolutely love that car. Someday, when even AC Delco parts can't keep it going, we'll just park it out back so he and the dog can sit in it and reminisce.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time.
TNN's exclusive coverage of the Chevy dealers of New England 250 is being brought to you by AC Delco. It's like buying time. 170 laps complete here at New Hampshire International Speedway. There are lots of parts of New England that are still pristine and unspoiled, and we found one last night. The 40-year history of stock car racing is written from the glow of 200-watt bulbs in the dust from countless quarter-mile dirt tracks like this one. There is still a place where the cars have coupe bodies, one safety hub on the right front, straight axle front ends, and straight six engines. Welcome to Bear Ridge Speedway, high atop a hill in Bradford, Vermont. It's a place where the prices are friendly and so are the folks. The attitudes are casual. For example, is it Greg's night to drive or is it Dave's? Is this car 92, 82, 12? Or does it matter? For 25 years, the Elms family has promoted Bear Ridge. Now Chuck Elms and Dale Fullerton carry on the tradition and the excitement. They had 1,500 people on hand last night to watch 5 divisions of racing. But people come from far and wide to see the coupes. Some of these cars date from the track's beginning. Some are newer. But these coupes give us a look at a time when racing was basic, fiercely competitive, inexpensive, and fun. And in Bradford, Vermont, every Saturday night, it still is. That was a fun night of racing, Neil.
I tell you what, Mike, it's amazing that they can find that many coupes still in one piece to run a race. But the good part is just to see a track where the promoter's happy to have 1,500 people sitting in there and people really enjoying themselves.
And we remind folks all across the country to get out Saturday night, Friday night too, and support your local short track. There's bound to be some good short track racing where you live, so couch potatoes, get out there and get a little sniff of the gasoline and get a little roar from those engines. Get out and see some good short track racing near you. You'll see some good racing on TNN in September. We'll bring you the Split Fire Spark Plugs 200 Busch Grand National Race from Dover, Delaware. Saturday, September 19th here on TNN at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And the next day, Sunday afternoon at noon, the Peak Antifreeze 500 for the Winston Cup cars coming up from the Monster Mile at Dover, Delaware in September on TNN. We'll get back to green after this 7th caution of the day. Green flag on lap 172. Todd Bodine way up the inside. A big commotion up front.
Yeah, Burton took a look to the inside. He was going.
Oh, Spencer goes around.
Boy, man, I tell you what, thought no one was going to hit, but one car did get some damage.
Jeff Berry, the 22 car. Caution's out. And here they come back around. It'll be Earnhardt. Robert Presley's going to try to get his lap back off turn 4. Here comes Presley. He's got a good run at Earnhardt, but Dale's on the throttle. Presley will remain 1 lap down.
Yeah, we've been seeing him. You know, every caution, it seems like one of the guys that was out of contention could work himself back in, but Presley didn't quite have enough to get back around.
I believe that's the 8th caution flag this afternoon. And for Jeff Berry, he's been involved in 3 of the last 4.
Here goes Spencer. He's in the middle of the pack going down in the corner. Okay, there's Todd Bodine in the car in front, make contact. Spencer lifted, looked like the one car might have tagged him just a little bit, turned him around, and I don't know how he kept getting hit from this 15 cars right here. Spencer looked like he grabbed another gear, shifted things, started taking on off.
Here's the 22 of Jeff Berry. Bam! I think that's Ricky Craven took the nose off of Berry's car and went around.
There's Spencer already starting around. He's going to back it in front of everybody, and we start seeing the big chain reaction. It's amazing as many cars got around without hitting it more than they did. No contact up. There's the car coming back across there. That was Ricky Craven, and you know, he continued on around, but the jolt that he took, it looked like it took the rear end around on the car.
And Jeff Berry's car is still parked down there in turn 1.
Spencer's coming down pit road.
So this will be caution number 8, according to our unofficial tally. Here at New Hampshire, we'll be right back.
He wonders if I even noticed that visual perfection produces unbelievably deep, rich, glowing color. An intense, dazzling, brilliant shine. I do. Visual perfection by Eagle One, the ultimate auto polish.
It's the same thing every Saturday. He puts on those old blue jeans and goes out with that old dog, and he's gone all day. He says he's going to bring back dinner, but all he ever brings back is that old dog.
Here's to old dogs, Saturday mornings, and comfortable blue jeans. Wrangler.
Hey, Mark, what's it like?
What?
Driving one of those souped-up family cars.
I don't think you can handle it, Al. Sometimes we bump into each other.
Yeah, but it's always in slow motion.
Are you going to take that from a guy who can't do anything for more than 5 seconds at a time?
Turn and face your accuser, Joe.
I don't have to turn, man. I'm a drag racer.
Banana George Blair does a pretty good job of staying young. We just help him out with the dash, seats, and tires of his car. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent, Armor All Protectant.
This bench gets a professional finish with Krylon spray paint. No runs, no drips, no errors. Dries to the touch in minutes. The other brand's still tacky. Whoa! What a game!
Good game, Mr. Euchre.
He's a lot tougher than he looks. For a fast, smooth, professional finish, get Krylon.
Today, live on TNN Motorsports, the ASA is pulling out all the stops, pitting experience against young, hungry competitors, turning up the heat and making this last live televised race the one to see. And if history is right, this should be a fight to the finish. It's the 25th anniversary of the ASA AC Delco Challenge Series. Live from Alberta, Canada. Players Limited 500 today, 4 p.m. Eastern, live, only on TNN Motorsports.
Jimmy Spencer was involved in that caution, made a pit stop, and then trouble continued. Mark?
I'm down here in Jimmy Spencer's pits. His crew chief, John Phillips. John, you guys had a long push. What is wrong with the car now?
Well, we seemed to have lost our clutch a little earlier in the race. We've been having to push him out of the pits on every pit stop, but as it always goes, when it's the most important, you know, it don't want to work right. So it just took a long time to get enough RPMs up in the motor for it to catch up and go on.
Now, if this car is all right, you might have caught a break with a little adversity there. You got to put on 4 tires. You'd used up your allotted 4 prior to that.
Right, but the bad part of that deal is I think we might have lost a lap trying to get him going, so now we got to make an extra lap and win the race.
Well, he was down 3 at Myrtle Beach, and he came back to win. Let's see if he can make up 1.
We're pretty good at coming back. We're going to give it all we got.
According to our tally here in the booth, Spencer was lapped on pit road as they tried to push him along and get him restarted. But he is back in the race. And Glenn reminds us, because Spencer spun and flat spotted the tires, the tire rule does include a provision that if you spin, you are allowed to put 4 fresh tires on. So Jimmy Spencer will be a lap down, but he'll have 4 fresh tires to work with.
If they hadn't lost that lap, Mike, he would have been sitting in perfect shape, because we've already seen what 2 tires does for a car. If he could have got out of there without losing that lap on 4, he would have had a big edge on him.
Let's update you that Jason Keller, driver who slapped the wall in turn 4, lap 167, took the mandatory ride to the infield care center and was released. He is okay. And that Ricky Craven's car that was involved when taking the nose off Mike Berry is there. A lot of right side sheet metal damage, but Craven, the defending champ, is back in the race. He's back out there on the racetrack, and I'm not sure if he lost a lap in that altercation. Caution flag count stands at 9 after this last one, and we have 73 laps to go. See if we get a take one on the field this time by. It looks like the debris in turn 1 is pretty well cleaned up. Joe Bessie making a late pit stop down there.
No, they didn't give the one to goes that time.
Looks like we'll hold one more lap. Broken sway bar on Joe Bessie's car was the problem, so he's back out there. And we'll get another lap to reset the safety equipment here at New Hampshire. Give us a chance to set this brake. We'll be right back.
What's bright red, featherlight, and comes with an extra long cord? Guess again, it's the Dirt Devil Hand Vac. That powerful revolving brush cleans it all, from pet hair and dirt to stairs, cars, and little messes. So get the Dirt Devil Hand Vac and lighten up.
It's a big investment. Get the most out of it. Change the oil every 3,000 miles. And do it yourself with quality Pennzoil motor oil from Walmart. Only Pennzoil promises performance, protection, quality, and only Walmart gives you Walmart savings every day of the year. Every 3,000 miles, put fresh oil in your car. But first, come to Walmart and put Pennzoil in your cart. Your car will last longer, your budget will too. Walmart. Always.
I just came up with a new sandwich. Wendy's Bacon Cheddar Cheeseburger, because I love cheese. And I wrote some slogans. What do you think of this? No? Oh, how about cheddar is better? Get it? Because it's got a quarter pound of fresh beef served hot off the grill, 3 strips of bacon, and cheddar cheese sauce, all on a toasted Kaiser bun. Here's the one I like best. Bacon and cheddar cheese is for me's. Well, I like it.
Try Wendy's new Bacon Cheddar Cheeseburger.
It's your boss on the phone. He says, do you still work here or not? I called the airline like you said, and sure, there's a later flight. Tomorrow.
When you just can't wait to get started, start with the Champion. Pound for pound, the most powerful automotive battery you can buy. Get your Champion now by calling 1-800-289-4627 for a dealer near you.
They've just waved the green flag here at New Hampshire. Dale Earnhardt out in front. Jimmy Spencer was in the middle of that pack, still is, trying to get his lap back. Robert Presley trying to get one back from the leader. Can't do it here, but at turn 3, they're 3 wide into the corner. Something had to give, and it was Todd Bodine who got squeezed out of that sandwich. Jeff Gordon down on the bottom of the racetrack. And the car up high, Jeff Burton. Here comes Todd, right down to the bottom. He wants to return the favor. Dives it in there deep on Gordon. That lets Burton get away in second place. Kelly Moore's right up there battling with those 2 cars. So Moore is a lap down unofficially. Jamie Obey, 3-time Busch North champ in the 41 car, mixing it up. Those northern drivers are coming to the front. There's Bodine from New York State, Moore from Maine, Gordon from Indiana, Obey from Vermont, Spencer from Pennsylvania, and Wallace from Missouri. Not quite sure where he fits into.
Look at Spencer with those 4 brand new tires. Just drive right down the apron and go by him. Boy, the new tires make a big difference. Losing that lap really cost him, or he'd be in good shape.
He's right behind that pack. Resendiz from Massachusetts, Schrader from Missouri, Butch Miller from Michigan. Where do those Southern guys go?
Don't be rubbing it in, Mike. Don't be rubbing it in.
Oh, I'm not, Neil. It's a long way to run here. Don't forget 2 of them are out front. Earnhardt out of North Carolina and Burton from Virginia are out in front of this field. Robert Presley just got his lap back from Earnhardt. So he could be a factor in this one before it's over. There's a look at Presley. Did it in turn 2. Snuck under Dale and took the lap back.
Dale's car seemed the longer they ran, the better. God, on these restarts, he's had to really wrestle that thing to see where he's going to hold his position. Boy, look here. Here's Spencer trying on the outside, right behind Todd Bodine.
Well, with 4 fresh tires, he should get there.
Yep.
Bodine is 3rd in the 34 car. And 4th in the number 1 is Jeff Gordon. Tom Foles has made a pit stop. 65 laps to go.
Well, so here's Spencer right here. He's driving right up under Todd Bodine. Boy, that's a good feeling to have new tires on. You catch the other guys with some stuff that's worn a little bit, and it really makes you feel frisky with that car. I feel like you can do about anything you want to do.
But Spencer still has a long way to go to get his lap back as he comes out of turn number 2. Half a straightaway from these cars to the leader. 25 car lengths. So now Spencer has cleared the 3rd place car, Todd Bodine. Now Bodine is 2nd in the points. 6th in this race now is Nemechek. There's Joe's yellow and white car just kind of popped into view there. And now up front, it's a race, and then some.
Burton got caught in that traffic just a while ago and lost some ground, was able to run Dale down from way back. Looks like he's going to drive right on by him here.
Earnhardt's car not working as it was on that last restart.
Seems like it just takes it a while to come in there, but Burton's car is really strong. He lost about 8 positions there, 8 car lengths in that traffic jam, and then he ran him down, drove right by him. But you got to keep in mind, this guy won the last race here. He's got a real good race car. And look coming here, here's Spencer on those 4 new tires. He's coming up there. He's the best, probably got the best chance to get a lap back than anybody on the racetrack.
He has caught the leader. Jeff Burton has 1 victory and 3 top 5 finishes. 14th in the point standings and the lead. What's happened to Dale Earnhardt? Glenn Jarrett?
Well, this is Tony Urey, Dale's crew chief. Tony, those right side tires have been on there a long, long time. Is that what the problem is right now?
No, the car, I think the tires are fine. The car just got a little loose right in the center of the corner. He's having a soft pedal a little bit right in the center.
Does the car seem to want to tighten up after you run it a little bit?
I didn't hear you.
I say, does the car seem to tighten up after you run a little bit?
No, it's been getting a little looser as the day goes, so I don't believe it's going to tighten up.
Okay, that's the story here.
The story here, though, Todd Bodine. He and Jeff Gordon got together, and along came Joe Nemechek, the point leader. Bodine, number 34, was hoping to gain some ground on Nemechek in the points. Look at this.
And they got together again.
Don't tell those guys you can't go 3 wide through there.
Nemechek got that lap back earlier in the day, and we said we thought he'd be a factor in this race before it's over. He had one of the quickest race cars, and now he's working his way right back to in contention to win the race.
Meanwhile, Todd Bodine has got to contend with Kelly Moore, Jamie Obey, and a fast closing in, Ken Schrader. The white and green car right side of your screen is Schrader, and he's been moving up a bit. Schrader there just working underneath Kenny Wallace's lap car and ahead of Dave Rezendes. Rich Miller in the picture as well. There's Schrader, number 15. And Rezendes, 79. Well, got underneath Kenny Wallace, but keep the pedal down. Now he's got Wallace in the back straightaway. Here at New Hampshire, 60 laps to go. Chevy Dealers 250. Good battle here in midfield. This is top 10 cars running. Rezendes just ahead there, and there's Bobby Labonte trying to come back. He is on the lead lap, we're showing now.
He got that lap back a while ago, and it made him have to start in the rear. He's been working his way up. He's kind of trapped behind 2 cars here.
Fighting Tracy Leslie, the 72 car. That'll be for position. And Kenny Wallace still a lap down. Jeff Burton leads this race. Earnhardt is 2nd. Todd Bodine 3rd. As of our last rundown, put Joe Nemechek in 3rd right now. Jeff Gordon in 4th. Todd Bodine would be 5th. Dave Rezendes, number 79, 6th. Tracy Leslie in 7th, that 72 car. Then 8th is Bobby Labonte, the 44. 9th to be Mike McLaughlin there, the 51 car. So good battle among the race's leaders. Also on the lead lap, Butch Miller, Dick McCabe, Tommy Ellis, Tommy Houston, along with Ricky Craven and Robert Presley, all showing up on the lead lap here, and Jimmy Spencer, of course.
There's Burton leading the race. At one time, Earnhardt made a little bit of a run on him there. It looked like Burton was able to pull away. That higher line gives you a good run off the corner. And that's if he's going to be able to make anything, it'll have to be as he runs off the corner on the outside.
Let's drop back and show you the third place car and the interval back to Joe Nemechek. There's Joe closing in, and then Jeff Gordon, Todd Bodine, and the rest of that pack.
Nemechek is probably the guy in this bunch who's got the best race car right now. He's had a lot of problems, but he's overcame all of that stuff, and I'm not so sure that he doesn't have the best car on the racetrack. And when he gets up to these two, he could possibly go right on by him. 17 cars on the lead lap here at New Hampshire. 55 laps to go. There are the race leaders, 3 of them, as you watch from Kenny Wallace's car. And a look at the leaderboard.
Hi, everybody. It's Al Winter. Gosh, I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I'm going to have a great week coming up. Real pumped about it. We're going to join you on Monday and spend the whole week with you in San Antonio. We'll be at Fiesta, Texas for a lot of fun. Join us right here on TNN.
A brilliant lawyer. An American patriot. A notorious killer. He destroyed every life he touched. James Wood stars in an HBO original movie. Citizen Cone.
Join C-SPAN for Vietnam Revisited, a video journey from Hanoi to the Mekong Delta. You'll see highlights of our travels with the Senate Select Committee on POW/MIA Affairs to Southeast Asia. Their objective? To investigate alleged sightings of live POWs and MIAs. You will also get a video verite look at everyday life in the region, and during live programming, our phone lines will be open for your comments. Vietnam Revisited, August 31st through September 4th.
Lead, and it's a hot one. Jeff Burton in number 8, Earnhardt in 3, and Joe Nemechek in 87. 2 of the cars I gave you a minute ago as being on the lead lap. Tommy Ellis's car is in the garage, and Mike McLaughlin's is headed there. Tough day for the Ricci team as McLaughlin coasts off the racetrack. He's been running in about 11th position, and he's out of the race. But up front, it's a dandy.
Yeah, Nemechek's car will get right down on the bottom of the racetrack. He gets down real low. His car makes a good pass through the center of the corner. Right here, he's right up under Earnhardt in the middle. His car's working right on the bottom of the racetrack, and that's a big, big advantage here.
And the 2 cars just ahead of them are trying to hang on to the tail end of the lead lap. Robert Presley and Jimmy Spencer just ahead of the leaders. Jeff Burton's in a tough spot for a leader.
Comes Spencer back on the inside. Presley, these 2 guys are battling. You would say, why are they in the front of all these leaders right here? They're trying to stay there to get that lap back in case the caution comes out. There goes Presley.
Something had to give there. And Burton and Presley may have made contact going into turn 1. But it is Presley in the fence and caution flag flying for the 10th time today. Race back to the flag. Jimmy Spencer trying to get his lap back. That's one thing Jeff Burton does not want to see. Here they come. Spencer will have it.
And Spencer sitting on the freshest tires on the racetrack.
He will be a factor in this one. 49 laps to go. Let's have another look down at turn 1.
Here they come, a whole gang of race cars. They get together right on the bottom. It looked like Burton was as low as he could get. Presley's trying to hold the inside line as much as possible. They just touched, just racing hard.
Presley came in here 3rd in the Busch point standings. And he has driven away from turn number 1.
I don't think it did any damage to his car. Now the question, he spun that car. Can he come in and put 4 tires on?
We'll find out here in a moment. 49 laps to go. Since we're under caution for the 10th time today, we'll take this break and be right back to New Hampshire International after this.
Oh, this
athlete's foot. The itching, the burning.
And the odor. Phew.
Stop the itch and the odor with new Odor Eaters Athlete's Foot Cream.
Odor Eaters for athlete's foot?
Look, Odor Eaters Cream cures itching, burning athlete's foot while it controls that awful odor. Yet it costs less than any of these.
No more athlete's foot.
And no more odor.
New Odor Eaters Athlete's Foot Cream. Powder and spray, too.
The energy of the Olympic Games. Texaco has captured it on a special videotape. Profiles of Olympic athletes who demonstrated the strength to endure and the energy to go further. This collector's tape is just $4.99 with a fill-up of System 3 gasoline. And it comes with a coupon for a free 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola Classic or Diet Coke. Good on your next visit. Get your videotape today at Texaco.
This is light.
Spring white. Those are great.
Wow! These are light?
Give me more!
Wait. Let's put Pringles Light up against these bag chips. There's 25% less fat in Pringles than in these.
You're talking my language.
And they're a lot less greasy. A lot less.
That's great.
Fantastic. These are great.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
But I don't have to. Behind the scenes, in the boardroom, in the pits, or on the track, you'll read about it in National Speed Sport News.
I get all the latest sprint car news.
It's got all the Winston Cup news.
This is where I catch up on my drag racing news.
Even the Indy 500 winner reads National Speed Sport News.
I want to find out what the whole world of racing is doing.
Every week for 50 weeks, only $32.50. Call today and your first issue will be mailed within 2 weeks.
Welcome back to New Hampshire. 47 laps to go. Robert Presley has made a pit stop. He'll get 4 tires on his car, but he'll be a lap down when we restart this race momentarily. New face in the control tower for NASCAR. The man on the right of Humpy Wheeler is Ray Hill. He's the new Busch Grand National Series director for NASCAR. He spent 8 years with NASCAR in the 1970s. 4 of them as Winston Cup director, the title Dick Beatty now holds. The past 3 seasons, he's worked for the Hoosier Tire Company. He's got 30 years in motorsports as an official and competitor and replaces Robert Black as the Busch Grand National Series director as of 2 races ago at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Robert remains affiliated with NASCAR. Up at the front, it'll be Jeff Burton. Joe Nemechek is the 2nd place car. Dale Earnhardt is 3rd. Todd Bodine is 4th. And Jeff Burton 5th. 15 cars, make that 14 cars on the lead lap. Riding along in the Polaroid car, the Don Beverly Motorsports machine with Shauna Robinson, the Iowa native. Right behind Tom Peck there. Both those cars a little bit battle-scarred from today. Here on the mile at New Hampshire. Kelly Moore and Jamie Obey from the North Series will be on the outside of Jeff Burton trying to get a lap back when we go back to green. Kenny Schrader is up to the 6th spot now with Bobby Labonte in 7th. Dave Rezendes in 8th. Let's go to the Nemechek pit. Glenn Jarrett. We'll get there in a moment. We're getting set to go back to the green flag here at lap 204. 46 to go, and we're back under green.
Let's take a look here, Mike, and see if Nemechek is able to use that inside line as strong as he has all day long. But Burton's car is stuck down there on the inside that time.
Tracy Leslie's car would not come up to speed on the restart. He was the 9th place car and will drop to the track apron in turn 1. See if Nemechek has anything for Jeff Burton here. He's got a mirror full of Earnhardt. And then Kelly Moore.
There's Nemechek turning down or under him right up off the corner. Nemechek's car has been able to do that all day long. That's the preferred line entering the corner here.
After being a lap down earlier, he'll momentarily at least lead this race for the first time today. The point standing leader. Joe Nemechek with 1 victory and 10 top 5 finishes and $100,000 banked this season. Goes to the front.
That's hard to believe. You start the race with sitting on pit road with the hood up and then get a lap down, change all the spark plugs in the motor and come back and take the lead. But his car the last few weeks and the last few races have been just so strong. that's one of the reasons he's able to pull those points in like he has.
Let's check back with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, this is Vic Kangas, crew chief on Joe's car. Boy, what a struggle you guys have had, but that car's flying now.
Yeah, we knew that the Texas Pete Lazito Chevrolet could get up front if we could just get through that traffic from behind. We had a lot of obstacles to overcome today, but I think we're going to do a good job. Joe's got the lead now, and I think he can hold it.
What about your tires? Are they okay for the rest of the way?
What was that?
Your tires, are they okay?
The tires are fine.
Okay, he's ready to win this thing. I tell you, these guys have done a terrific job, both in the pits and on the racetrack.
Here's Earnhardt making a run at Jeff Burton in the back straightaway. Seeing Nemechek and first place prize money get away here. $300,000 at stake here today.
He went in and made the pass under, but slid out. He just can't get the car to stay on the inside. He said earlier that the car was loose in the middle, and he's probably just having to chase the rear of the car. Just turn right and chase it up the track a little bit. He just can't keep it on the bottom. Boy, Nemechek's car has been so strong all day to overcome what he has.
Well, they won't forget Ernie Irvin was here. Irvin led the first half of this race by as much as a straightaway, but then went to the garage with ignition trouble. Since then, yellow is out. Caution flag. And a car has spun at turn 2. Shauna Robinson spun up at turn number 2. 11th caution of the day. Single car spin. Looks like everything working well at this point. For Shauna, she's back underway, as you see from the in-car. Dancing it back around the front straightaway.
Around, see if that thing feels okay. Make sure everything's under there. Make sure you don't have a flat on either of those wheels.
And it should be a brief caution. Didn't look like any debris kicked up there at turn number 2 where she spun. Yellow fever today. 11 caution flags in this event so far. Well, we've been getting a lot of those Polaroid instant pictures. Here's another one.
Went down in the corner. Here, roll out the throttle. Oh man, the back end just flew around on the car. I didn't see another car there. It sounded like the rear just broke loose.
It didn't sound like any contact.
No, damaged the car anymore already. I hope that's about a 38 snapshot load in that camera because we took plenty of pictures out of that one today.
Checking along pit road, we're told that both Earnhardt and Nemechek have plenty enough fuel to go the distance. Most caution flags, 12 for 48 laps in this race last year for the 250-lap distance at New Hampshire. We're one shy of that right now. Here's Kenny Wallace coming up to take his position behind Chuck Bound in the outside lane with the other lapped cars as we get ready for the restart. Nemechek, Earnhardt, Jeff Burton, Bodine, Gordon, Schrader. Then Labonte. Don't count Jimmy Spencer out of this yet.
No, he's on the freshest tires, and that's exactly what was in the back of my mind. If he can clear some of this traffic early, he'll be in good shape.
Green flag. They looked like they were 8 wide, but it was only 4. It just seemed like 8. And they funnel down to 2 wide at turn 2. Nemechek out with the lead. Earnhardt second. Burton is slipping back. Todd Bodine and Joe Bessie go by him. Jeff Burton did not get a good head of steam on that restart. He's dropped back out of the picture. There's Burton fighting Jeff Gordon, the white car. Nemechek will lead them by. There's that battle. Schrader right up there with Gordon. Mike Stefanik in that picture, Bobby Labonte, and Jimmy Spencer. And Jeff Burton is just ahead of Gordon. So he did manage to hang on that far. And Robert Presley's under Earnhardt at them. Dale doesn't seem to have much for Nemechek at this point.
No, Nemechek seems to be pulling away. Got a couple of lap cars in between them. Just what Nemechek needs. I don't know if he needed that or not. Mike's car was so strong. It certainly doesn't hurt to have those lap cars in between.
Those two side by side on the right of your screen. That's Presley underneath Earnhardt. That's first to second, the width of your screen. And it's about 9 car lengths. Joe Bessie is closing in. We are told he is 1 lap down in that AC Delco car.
Yeah, he was on pit road, and they were working on the sway bar and got him behind and ran so good up to that point, and had the sway bar break, I believe, was the problem.
That's the number 9 car. Was on the lead lap all day and trying to get that sway bar fixed or disconnected. He lost a lap in the pits. There's Earnhardt, second place, behind Jim Yobi. Then Presley in line, and then waves back to Todd Bodine, who is third. And Jeff Burton hanging on to fourth. Burton's coming back. He's in that pack. And Gordon gets into the side of Joe Bessie. Bessie and Spencer squeaks through right at the wall. Mike Stefanik spins and continues, trying to take evasive action. And everybody's going to race back around to the yellow flag. Nobody's going to catch Nemechek in this run to the caution. Now the pack pretty well settles out. Tense moment up there in turn 1, and we have tied the record for caution flags for a 250-lap race.
I tell you, Spencer squeaked through that deal. I thought he was going to knock the wall down, and he got it straightened out and made it through.
And with that caution, let's remind you that we will join the ASA race at Calgary, Canada, immediately following the event here at New Hampshire. So ASA fans, stay tuned. Let's have another look down there in turn 1.
Mike, here they are going down the front straightaway. There's the 1 car entering the corner right there. It's Bessie on the outside. 1's down on the inside. They got together right there. It's just, boy, I tell you, he's on the left as far as he goes. Bessie came down a little bit. And 1 was going up, and look right here at Spencer. I tell you, a little dirt track experience didn't hurt right there. He just slid by him on the outside in the loose stuff. Was able to clear him.
He lived a charmed life there. There's the car sliding up. That's Mike Stefanik spinning around and getting right back into gear and going again. Bessie's car is already up on the wall. Looked as if he came down into Gordon trying to get back down to the bottom line, and there just wasn't room for him there.
You take a look at that shot, and we talk about this big, wide racetrack. It makes for nice racing, but it also makes for the ability to save a race car. We've seen car after car loop in that corner. Unless they get hit by another car, they can just about regroup and go on and run the rest of the race.
So Joe Bessie comes to pit road, 32 laps to go, and we'll take this break and a brief word from Dale Earnhardt about the competition on the Busch circuit. Is it now as fierce as it is in Winston Cup?
It is. It's real competitive, and it's tough to come in here and race these guys where they race every week or every, their cars every week and beat them. So it's a lot of fun, but it's still real competitive. It's not easy to just come in here and outrun them.
Okay, 3 reasons not to buy BF Goodrich TA tires. The only bouncing you do is with a personal check. To you, life in the fast lane means 8 items or less. All you know about 4x4s is that they hold up your front porch. BF Goodrich TA tires for the rest of us.
Over the years, I've made a lot of trips back and forth to Vegas.
How's it going this trip, George?
The odometer was broken for over 50,000 miles, so I say we've got 300,000 miles on this car.
Hi, George.
I've had a longer relationship with this car than I've had with any woman.
Hi, George. How are you?
This beauty's a living example of what can be done with proper maintenance and AC Delco.
Hi, George.
AC Delco parts. It's like buying time. If you thought Banana George Blair had found the fountain of youth,
I'm 77 and still barefooting.
You'd be half right, because the one he's found is actually for his car. With a little Armor All Protectant, George restores the beauty of his dashboard and seats, and in minutes it helps protect his tires from fading and aging.
It keeps my car looking almost as good as me.
There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent. Armor All.
I hope my teeth don't fall out.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. With not 1, but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Jimmy Spencer's run hard all day. He's been in and out of a number of fracases on the racetrack, and it looks like now, Neil, he might have a right front tire rubbing as a result of that last incident.
Got a lot of smoke coming off of it for the first few laps after they restarted. Looks like he's touched that fender and got it laying against the sidewall of the tire just at least a little bit.
Just there ahead of Ron Lamell. 28 laps to go. There's Tom Bowles in the 76 car, and back up front, Joe Nemechek and Dale Earnhardt. Todd Bodine in third. Jeff Burton got a good restart that time. He's fourth. Fifth still Jeff Gordon, and sixth Kenny Schrader. Seventh Bobby Labonte. Turn one seems to have been Calamity Corner, Neil. The drivers seem to be a little more reluctant to go into three side by side, but they've been hauling it off down into turn number 1, 2, and even 3 wide.
Well, to make the pass, you've got to get under somebody in the middle of that corner. To do that, you've got to drive it a mile off in the corner, and everybody's trying to drive deeper than the other guy, and some of them aren't making it. That's the place you really got to kamikaze the car to make it get in there and be able to make the pass, and got a lot of action down there.
26 laps to go. Earnhardt appears to be closing back on Nemechek.
Here's two totally different lines. Here's Nemechek's car running right around the apron. We've seen Earnhardt's car run high all day long, and that usually comes to you. You know, Dale's car on the restarts just won't stay down there, but it seems to run a lot better the longer it runs on the top. So we got there's no reason he can't pass him if he can get there, because Nemechek's giving him plenty of room on the outside. Catching him's going to be one thing. Passing him will be the trick.
Fuel not a problem for these cars to check. 24 to go. Now there is Jeff Gordon. He's the 5th place car, and Robert Presley just ahead of him. Unofficially with 1 lap down. So Presley, he's had a hard fight here today as well.
Yeah, he's ran good enough to be right here with a chance to win the race, and just had some bad luck. Those kind of days come along. It's like Ward Burton said earlier, sometimes you just can't do anything right on a given day.
Earnhardt keeps taking that long way around, but it keeps him just 1 car length away from Nemechek, and gets quite a run off that corner that way.
Well, with the car having a little bit of a loose condition, you can't pinch it down in the corner. And he's trying to make the best of being off of pace just a little bit, and it might be working to his advantage. That outside lane seems to be pretty quick.
I don't know, Neil, if the start-finish line was in the middle of the corner, Earnhardt might win this thing, but Nemechek just seems to have a lot of motor.
Well, you know, to have the trouble he had all day long, he had to drive back around a lot of good race cars. The boy's done a good job driving that thing, and it's worked well for him, and he's going to be tough to beat.
Nemechek and Earnhardt. And Todd Bodine looks like he might be kind of gaining a bit on this front twosome. In 3rd, and then Jeff Burton in 4th.
Well, when two people get to racing each other, they start taking a little bit of, you know, the car Nemechek, he's got to protect that inside. Dale's running outside, and you start to get a little bit protective if you slow yourself down a little bit. Bodine could possibly gain in on it.
Unofficially, the leading Busch North car is their point leader, Dick McCabe, in the 0. Fisher Plows Buick. Then Mike Stefanik and Jamie Obey, each of whom are 1 lap back, and nose to tail 2nd and 3rd among the Busch North competitors. Up front, Earnhardt just keeps chewing away at Nemechek's lead, and he's now within less than a car length.
Nemechek's a good racer. He's won races this year, and I'm sure when he looks in that mirror and sees that little black car, he knows who's back there. And if anything, I think it motivates these guys. I think in the past it might have intimidated them, but I think nowadays they just love to race against the Winston Cup guys, and Nemechek's doing a great job.
That's got to be quite a boost to a young driver to look in his mirror. It's got to be quite a fright to look in his mirror and see Dale Earnhardt, but to know that he's running ahead of him and holding him off, that's got to be quite a boost. And Nemechek stretches it out down into 1 to 2 car lengths. 20 laps to go. The gap to Bodine seems to have stabilized back to the 3rd place car. Last week's winner. 4th place, Jeff Gordon, or rather Jeff Burton, a bit further back.
Mike, I think about 3 laps ago, we might have seen Earnhardt's hand. He rode along and doing the best he can, and all of a sudden we started trying to drive outside, and after he tried to make that move, he lost a little bit of ground. Right now, I would say he's probably in the cool-down mode. He's trying to get the tires back under him, where he can just every now and then make that run at Nemechek. But Nemechek is so strong.
We're also going to have a battle shaping up for 5th. Jeff Gordon, Kenny Schrader, and Bobby Labonte are gaining a bit of track position on one another. Closing up just a bit. We'll keep half an eye on that one as we watch the leaders go at it here with 18 laps to go.
It's hard to beat a guy when he did what Nemechek's doing, wearing that inside line of that racetrack out. Cars running a good straight line, not slipping the wheels, it looks like. It'll be tough.
Earnhardt doing all he can do to try to get Joe Nemechek with 18 laps to go. Nemechek, Earnhardt, Bodine, Burton, and Gordon. We'll be right back.
Players Limited 500 next, live on TNN Motorsports.
All day, all night, all music. CMT, Country Music Television, all right.
Thinking about getting in shape is the first step. The next step is easy. Introducing Easy Step. Now you can enjoy the benefits of stair climbing in the comfort of your own home. Step by step, you lose weight aerobically as you firm and shape buttocks, thighs, and calves. The free step-in system adds an upper body workout to tone all major muscle groups. Scientifically engineered hydraulics provide just the right amount of resistance, and it's so portable, you can Easy Step anytime, anywhere. There's no assembly required, and Easy Step comes with an amazing 5-year warranty. Unlike this $1,000 monster, Easy Step can be yours for 3 easy payments of $33. Exclusively available from Fitness Effects. So take the Easy Step to a younger, firmer-looking you and order now.
Don't be fooled by imitations. Just call 1-800-257-0800. We'll bill your credit card 3 monthly payments of only $33 plus shipping and handling. To order your original Easy Step, call now 1-800-257-0800.
Mike Joy and Neil Bonnet back with you at New Hampshire International Speedway. Joe Nemechek hanging on to a 3-car length lead on Dale Earnhardt. It's about 8 car lengths back to Todd Bodine. This race is kept fairly tight after the departure of Ernie Irvin. And back in 4th place, top of your screen, just coming down the lane. Watch the white car. That's Jeff Gordon, and right behind him, Kenny Schrader. In a very hot pursuit, as is Bobby Labonte. So pretty tight up toward the front of the field. 12 cars showing on the lead lap here as we get down to the closing stages. 14 laps per go. Here's that great battle from 4th on back. It's Jeff Burton in the 8 car. Jeff Gordon, Kenny Schrader, Bobby Labonte. Right together, nose to tail. And they've spent about the last 10 or 15 laps catching up with one another. Now they're well back of the front threesome.
Mike, I think Jeff Burton had radioed his crew and said that he tangled with one of the cars a little bit earlier and got a lick in the rear end of his car, in the rear suspension. And the car hasn't been driving as well as it was before and showing up.
That's right. He and Robert Presley have gotten together a bit earlier on. There's Schrader, who flew up toward Watkins Glen, New York to race at Tioga last night, the old Shangri-La Speedway. Finished 3rd?
Yeah, he said he ran 3rd. He used someone else's car and said he had a lot of fun. He races every night he gets a chance. Here's Jeff Gordon making a move inside of Burton now.
Don't forget, Schrader ran 50 laps here yesterday in the consolation race, finishing 2nd to Earnhardt. 4th place here, and Gordon is going to take that spot away. Jeff Gordon 6th in the point standings, Ward Burton 7th in the point standings, and now here's Burton in the Oldsmobile trying to hold off Schrader's Chevrolet. 12 laps to go. And Schrader will get inside him.
Boy, Burton can get down in the corner. It's off the corner where he's losing a little bit to these guys.
There's Bobby Labonte.
Look at his car run up the straightaway, and it usually gets in the corner good, but where he's losing the ground is from the middle out.
And Schrader has the measure of him. Burton will slip to 6th. Here comes Bobby Labonte looking for that spot, drawing a bead on Burton. Bobby Labonte's come from a lap down today. Oh, Burton goes right back after Schrader.
Schrader's going to come right back after Burton.
Boy.
Said I thought I had him passed. Both of them swapped the lead 3 times.
10 laps to go. Great racing here for 5th, 6th, and 7th spot. Bobby Labonte's under Burton now.
Schrader figures he better check out if he can, because they'll pass him again.
Well, he's setting sail for Jeff Gordon now.
Yep.
And that drifts Jeff Burton back to the back of that pack. Up front, it's still 3 car lengths from Nemechek to Earnhardt. Remind you, this copyrighted telecast of the Chevy Dealers of New England 250 is presented under broadcast rights granted by New Hampshire International Speedway and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any retransmission or reuse of the pictures, accounts, or descriptions of this event without the express written consent of the Nashville Network is prohibited. We're into the countdown at 9 laps. Nemechek and Earnhardt. And Neil, you may have hit it right on the head that when Earnhardt got up along the outside lane and closed to within 3 car lengths, he was showing what he had. And there might not be any more.
I think, you know, he probably made as strong a run as he could after a while. You certainly can't rule a thing out that he'll make a run in, but Nemechek's car is so good right here, right where we're watching him, right down there low. And if he doesn't make a mistake, it's going to be hard for Dale to ever get back up there. And the only place left to pass is the outside. Even though Dale's car is running good out there, you could catch him, but passing out there is a different deal.
Chuck Bowen has apparently dropped a cylinder. He's going to finish this race, but he was a lap down, and he's going to fade a bit further back here. This race once again for 4th place. Todd Bodine is 3rd, kind of by himself out there. Here's 4th and 5th. Schrader, whose Hendrick Motorsports stablemate will be Jeff Gordon next year, running right along with him, and Bobby Labonte, who'd like to move up to Winston Cup racing as well, right there.
Schrader's had a good run. He started right back there. Him and Earnhardt both ran that consolation race just to get in this race, and Schrader's worked hard all day, getting the nose up under Gordon right here a little bit, trying to, taking a look to the inside to make Gordon know he's trying it anyway, hoping for a little open room there. Here he comes, right up under him off the corner.
He's got 6 laps left to find a way by. And down in turn 1, by the way, Nemechek still holds 3 car length lead, so we'll stay right here. Good battle here for 4th spot.
Gordon's car is getting a little bit loose. We saw the back end hang out on a little bit. And it hangs out. It spins those rear wheels to give Schrader an opportunity to get up under him. Here's the case right here where Schrader, there's no way he's up beside him, but he looks to the inside. He wants Gordon to think that he's there and maybe give him some room getting down in the corner. Gordon's car is getting real loose off the corner. You can see the back end hang out. Even now, Schrader's got to just keep putting the heat on, try to get him to spin those rear wheels.
Well, now, what do you do if you're Bobby Labonte?
You hope they both spin the rear wheels. You got to go with whoever's got the strong hand when they get up beside each other.
It'll be 4 laps to go this time. Earnhardt closes to within 1 car length at turn 3.
That right there is where he's been able to move in. He can gain on him in 3 and 4, and he usually loses a little bit of ground to him in 1 and 2. These last few laps, we'll just have to see if he can do anything with him.
Schrader's there. Gordon pulls him down the front straightaway toward turn number 1. No, he doesn't have to give him the bottom line at all. Never mind.
You don't give anybody anything with 5 to go, I don't guess.
No, Gordon had enough at the end of the straightaway to drop right in line in front of Schrader. Kenny will have to try it one more time. 3 laps to go this time. Here's Earnhardt.
Boy, now when they got down in that corner, Nemechek's car pushed out in the center of the corner a little bit. But his car is so good right here. He's been able to make up a lot of difference right here on this track. This is about the closest run Earnhardt's had at him up off of this corner. Nemechek's car hung the back out a little bit off that corner.
It'll be 2 to go this time.
Dale takes back out and takes a look at that wide line one more time. See Nemechek's car, he has been that, oh, there we go.
Uh-oh. And off they come off the corner, side by side. And I've got to wonder if Dale didn't lift right there, because Joe got himself squared away.
It looked like he said, got into him and says, man, let's regroup, do this thing over again. But
yep,
they definitely got together getting in that corner. But Nemechek's car hadn't been that high all day. He was out a little bit further than he'd been all day long.
And look at Nemechek.
Right back on the outside.
With the motor.
Good little racer coming right here, I'm telling you.
Their nose to tail, nip and tuck again. Well, in track and field, they call this the bell lap. They ring the bell and 1 lap to go. And that's the dinner bell. Here they come.
Earnhardt back on the inside. White flag's out. This is the last lap.
That would have been a dead heat.
Would have been now right here before Nemechek was able to get away from him, pull him down this back straightaway. See if he can do it again.
Back straightaway, Earnhardt pulls away. Nemechek's going to be right with him entering turn 3.
It's going to be right to the wire, I'm telling you.
Nemechek up high, Earnhardt down lower. He's been strong, scoots away. Now, does Nemechek have the power, and can he get it down?
Off of this corner is where Nemechek's really made a run. Here he comes to the wire. He's going to beat him to the line.
He's going to win it. Joe Nemechek picks up the victory, win 2, and for 4th place behind Todd Bodine, Jeff Gordon holds off Kenny Schrader and Bobby Labonte. Well, not only did Joe Nemechek just win a terrific race, but Neil, I gained a lot of respect for Dale Earnhardt right there. When those two cars got together, Earnhardt probably could have mashed the gas and driven off. He gave Nemechek a chance to get himself squared away. They were side by side down the straightaway and then settled it in the last 2 laps. That's the mark of a champion right there. We'll be right back.
In America, your car doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco has developed Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. With not 1 but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. Haviland Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
Filtered Miller Genuine Draft. The world's a very cool place.
In trying to make an artistic statement, one should be careful not to let one's personal aroma do the talking. In order not to offend the critics, I recommend Right Guard Sport Stick. It provides maximum protection and the freshest scents, a sublime palette of odoriferous emanations. After all, a true artiste should be remembered for his inspiration, not his perspiration. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
When you've got a tough case of athlete's foot, the itching, the cracking, the burning, you want a medicine that acts tough. Tough Actin Tenactin.
Clinically proven Tenactin cures even the tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. Get Tough Actin Tenactin.
Banana George Blair does a pretty good job of staying young. We just help him out with the dash, seats, and tires of his car. There is a fountain of youth, and we own the patent, Armor All Protectant.
TNN's exclusive coverage of the Chevy Dealers of New England 250 has been brought to you by Texaco, official sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team, and by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. Our thanks to Bob and Gary Bear and their families and staffs here at New Hampshire for making us feel welcome. What a last few laps, Neil Bonnet. There is the man who started this race on pit road, changing spark plugs, and ends up in victory lane. Let's have another look there at what happened between he and Dale Earnhardt.
Mike, they're going down in the 3rd turn here. And Nemechek had been down low all day. He got out a little bit further out. Dale comes in and gives him a wrap in the rear. Here we go, rolling it back again. Dale comes in. You can see right here, made contact. And at this point, I'm kind of like you, Mike. I believe Dale could have mashed the gas right there and went sailing right on by. It gave him just a little bit of breathing room. And Nemechek showed what a good racer he was. He didn't just give it up. Coming off 2, he drove right back by Dale. And then they tried to settle it on the last lap.
They ran each other hard those last 2 laps, but now Joe Nemechek again finds himself in victory lane. Glenn?
Well, you're looking at one of the happiest people in America right now. What a roller coaster day. Down, and finally up again. Great job, Joe.
I tell you what, the Texas Pete Lazito Pharmacy Chevrolet, it run good. You know, we started out right off the start. The thing had a miss, and I said, this can't be true, because the car, you know, we were flying in practice, had our best qualifying run here, and once we got our spark plug fixed, we proceeded to just keep on going. And we got down to the end there. We changed tires. Jeff Burton changed tires a little bit before us, and we stayed out, and we finally got our lap back when Ernie broke and got in the front. And I think the funnest part was those last 5 or 6 laps with Dale. They call him the Intimidator, and you know, we had a good car. I was trying to run my own pace, and he made that last lap charge on me, and they said, don't let him get behind you, he'll get you loose. And Then he hits me in the back and turns me sideways. So I turn back up into him to straighten myself out. We bang a few times, just keep banging. You know, he'd hit me, but I would bang back into him, get straightened out. So it was a pretty good run. The last hit coming off of 4, it knocked the toe in out. The thing shook all the way around, and it just happened we got to jump off of him coming off of 4. And I tell you what, and, you know, they don't call him the best for nothing. And I'm just glad I beat him.
Well, if there's anybody else in America you'd rather beat in a race like that, can you think of anybody other than Dale Earnhardt?
No, I can't. You know, Dale's been real good to me. He's taught me a lot, and he's helped me. And today he really gave me a lesson on how to win a race, and I wanted it bad. But he wanted it too, but I think we won a little bit worse.
Well, I think you taught everybody else a lesson about not ever giving up. Congratulations again. Now we're going to throw it to Mark Garrow, who is going to award your crew with the Miller Crew of the Race Award.
Yeah, I want to thank Vic Kangas. We had a heck of a race car here today. You know, he put just a super suspension under us, Garlock, and all the other people.
Okay, Mark Garrow.
I'm down here on pit road with Vic Kangas. He is chomping at the bit to go to victory lane and join Joe Nemechek. On a sunny day, it looked dark early. You guys made the right moves early on, cool under pressure, and we'd like to present you with the Miller Genuine Draft Pit Crew Award. Fine job.
Thank you very much. This award has got to go to the rest of the crew, you know, for keeping a cool head when we had a problem early on. I really got to give the credit to those boys. They really did an excellent job. We had a spark plug that was bad, and they changed it and did it real well. We got a lap down. We made that lap up, and the Texas Pete Lazito Chevrolet really did an excellent job for us today. And my hat's off to Joe for doing an excellent driving job.
Like their driver, Joe Nemechek's crew, cool under pressure, and they, again, the Miller Genuine Draft Pit Crew Award winners today. Back upstairs to Mike Joy.
Thank you, Mark. What a day. We'll have a look at the field rundown here. Joe Nemechek picks up $27,600. And Neil, as for that Civil War, our winning driver today was from Florida. His winning crew chief, as you might tell by that accent, was from Massachusetts.
I could tell. I could really tell.
Here's a look at the rundown. You'll see ASA racing live next right here on TNN. And we'll be in Dover, Delaware for a weekend doubleheader. Busch Series on Saturday, Winston Cup on Sunday. For Neil Bonnet, Mark Garrow, and Glenn Jarrett, I'm Mike Joy. So long from New Hampshire International Speedway. Congratulations to Joe Nemechek on a great day.
Players Limited 500 next live on TNN Motorsport.